Hello, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you for joining me this evening. Hope you all are well, safe, got your bellies full. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, 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 hello. Had a phone call there. Thanks for joining me. This will be a discussion pertaining to Where Are the Boys? As most of you know, the 21st of this month has passed. This marks the fifth month that the children have been missing out of California City. And Doug and myself are going to chop it up, dissect, go over everything that we know of, heard of, and you're welcome to join the panel. Please respect the hostess, the mods, and the chat. Refrain from using any profanity in the chat and on the panel. I'm going to step away for just a second because I got to take a quick call right quick. Excuse me. Sorry. Only on the live these things happen. Sorry about that, you guys. Hold on. Oh, Lord. Okay. Okay. Well, let me try it again. Okay. Thank you. Issues with the link, what someone has said. So we're going to try it again. Hold on. Okay. 1 second. Know what's going on here. Try it again. Hold on. Oh, Lord. Hello, everybody. Hello, honey. How are you? Thanks for joining me. Hello, Patricia, Carissa. Thank you, Crystal, Night Out. Thanks for joining me. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you're well. 62 in the room already. Thank you so very much. Pray that everything goes well this this evening. Hello, Miss Virginia, Central Virginia. Hi, Miss Walker. How are you doing? Hello, Sam. How you doing? Evan, how you doing? Well, Evan has a birthday. Say happy birthday to Evan. Thank you, Junior Lee. Yes, 21 days. It will be 6 months since the boys were reported missing. I no longer have hope that they will ever be found. That is Junior Lee's commentary. Some of you may feel that way. I will discuss my opinion here in a second pertaining to the children. Hello, Tiffany. How you doing? Hey, honey. Happy birthday to all of you that have a birthday today or this week. Happy Memorial Day. God bless our veterans, those who are serving currently, those who are retired, those who have passed on. Amen. Hello, Tracy. I'm Marcella. How you doing, Donna? How you doing? How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining me. Yes, hello, Tiffany. Thank you so very much. Hi, Tori. Hello, Flouncy. Uh, Tomorrow I will be doing a story. I wanted to do the story today, but I was a bit tired. And I was waiting to hear from someone close to the victim. Hello. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Miss Walker, Mrs. Walker. I was wanting to do the story of Chadwick Carr, that's missing out of East Tennessee, right here in my backyard. I've reached out to family members. I haven't had a response as of late. So I'm waiting for someone to call me back, but I'm supposed to speak to someone tonight, a friend of his, old acquaintance, and I want to talk to him to get information pertaining to who Mr. Carr is, his personality, and that way I can bring you all more information about who he is as a person. He is currently missing out of East Tennessee. He's a young African-American male, one son, 12, never married, single to my knowledge. And he's missing, and he went missing from a halfway house out of Clinton, Tennessee. And it is baffling because he has not notified his family. Tomorrow will mark 1 month that he went missing. That was on a Sunday, May 1st of this month, that he last had conversations with his sister. She was on the phone with him, and out of nowhere, I believe the phone went dead, silent. She tried calling him back, no answer. So where is Chadwick Carr? Tomorrow, I will go out to the area where he was last seen alive. I will either go live from the said location or I will upload a video because I want to be very careful who I try to talk to. And I don't want any shenanigans on a live as far as talking to people in the community, because, you know, when you're in small towns, people get very leery about talking, period, and especially on camera. But I will go out and give a broad view of the area so you can see the area. You can see the dynamics of the area where the halfway house is. And all points going either direction, roads. And we can piece together what happened to Chadwick Carr. This will be the Queen's first upload of a live location of a disappearance of a human being. And I also had pondered about going live from a location last year pertaining to the death of a woman who most of you have heard that story, that was found in a freezer in East Tennessee. I know that area. I just was a little itchy about going to that house. I just don't really want to be anywhere near that location where she is. I just dropped it, sweetheart. Thank you, Air Force. Air Force is on board. Night Owl and Crystal will be the moderators for this live. Please be respectful in the chat. If you don't have anything nice to say about the Queen, the other guests, whomever else is in the chat, just remove yourself and leave it at that. Thank you so much. Chadwick Carr, C-A-R-R. Why are you putting question marks behind the, oh Lord. Hi, baby. How you doing, Lakeisha? Well, Air Force, maybe you need to go to bed, eat some pudding, and go to sleep. What's going on with you? Oh, mercy. Thank you all for joining me. 112 in the room. Thank you. I want to get this started. I'm going to bring you demographics pertaining to Cow City. It may bore you, but that's okay, because I'm the type of queen. I don't just talk on the microphone about a case. I bring you demographics pertaining to the area, the people, the city, the town. This way you can learn something about the area that we're speaking of. We're speaking of a very small city in the desert, but It has a massive amount of land in that desert. Third largest city in California by land. By land. Let me bring you demographics and we can go from there. Hello, Mr. Umno. Thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Queen. Thanks for having me on, Big Angie.
Oh, anytime. I'm going to try to roughly run through a few little things. If there's some other things you all want to know about Cal City, just ask. And I've got some of it noted about population, this and that. But I'm going to first run off about reports of missing children in California. Missing child who has left home without the knowledge or permission of parents or guardian. In 2020, I'm just going to bring you 2020 list. 62,008. Lost. Any child who has strayed away or whose whereabouts are unknown. 180. Catastrophe. Any child who is missing after a catastrophe. Plane crash, boating accident, fire, flood. 7. Stranger abduction. Any witness abduction of a child by a stranger, non-family member. 30. Parental family abduction. Any child taken by a parent, family member. I think I just brought you all that one. Oh, maybe I didn't. Hold on. 1,000.
I've got a list for you too as well.
Okay, 1,588 children taken by a parent or family member in the state of California, 2020. Suspicious circumstances. Any child missing under suspicious circumstances that may indicate a stranger abduction. 251. Unknown circumstances. Any child who disappears under circumstances unknown. 1,138. So the most cases in 2020 of children missing were children who left home without knowledge or permission of parents or guardian. The next one is 1,588, and that's parental family abduction. The one after that is 1,138 children missing, and that is children missing of unknown circumstances. Cal City, 13,826 people. Kern County. It is believed to be a nice and welcoming place. The predominant race in Cal City is white, 68.19. 12.82 is black, 1.56 is Native American, 3.73 Asian, 0.32 Pacific Islander, 7.43 other, 5.94 two or more races, 16.96 Hispanic, very high. Latino and Hispanic, 16.96. The crime rate in Cal City is higher than the average for that state. We've got 53%.
You know, we have
100. Go ahead.
We have a big problem here too, because a lot of what you're talking about also has to do with runaways. Okay. like you stated.
Well, that's why I mentioned everything that's on the list. So there's
62,000 in 2020 that are runaways. 62,000 people that are right now at this point. And then you got the 1,588 that are the parental or family abductions, like you stated, which includes any child taken by a parent or family member.
62,000. That's a lot for runaways too.
A lot.
And then we have to also count.
Like just in California. It's just in California, you guys. It's insane. It's insane.
And then too, you have to also count what somebody reported and told authorities. For all we know, some of those counts could be different if indeed it's foul play and they really didn't run away. Somebody got them missing. Just a note for that. Okay. Violent crime. The last I have of 2019, 57%. Murder, 0. 90%, 90.8 rape, robbery, 104.8. Have a lot of robberies there. Average, 35.2%.
Now, do you mind if I add something, Queen?
Yes, go ahead.
There's actually the status of missing children reports in California. This is what the status is of what those numbers we just talked about. So the amount of people returned, let's say for the runaway section, 41,188. Located, 14,683. Deceased, 41. Arrested, 1,260. You got to remember, a lot of people who disappear, because they have warrants and things too, you guys.
Yes.
Emancipated, 69. We got voluntary missing, 81. Withdrawal invalid, which means the report filed in error or reporting party withdraws the report, 388. Other would be 4,000-ish. It says 3,800. And then unknown would be 39. So you can see those numbers that we do see, that 61,000 or 62,000 is a big number. But then it comes back as 41,000 as the status of being accounted for.
Okay. Well, I'm going to top off with people living in poverty in Cal City. Last documentation was 2019. 24.1% are living in poverty in Cal City. 12.7 are white. 43.3 are black. 29.4 are Hispanic, Latino. 8.5 American Indian. 50.0% Native American and Pacific Islander. 53.1 other. 6.6 for 2 or more races. 33 registered sex offenders in Cal City as of May 31st, 2021. The ratio of sex offenders in Cal City is 411 to 1.
Were you able to give the population of Cal City, which is roughly 13 to 14,000 people?
Yes.
Just so people know.
Right now, I have a
That's
2019
one officer.
number.
That's one officer per 1,000 person.
Yes.
Right. I don't mean to cut you off. That's one officer per 1,000 people in that town, in that city, because Cal City only has 13 people on their law enforcement board.
Yeah. 2020 had it dated at 14. Yeah. Let me tell you all something.
Including the chief. Yes.
460,000 children are reported missing a year in America. The county in California with the highest number of missing persons is Humboldt County as of January 7, 2019, with a total of 2,133 missing persons. Humboldt County out of California. Do you know where that is, Humboldt County?
Humboldt County, yes. That's actually it's up north past Santa Barbara.
Okay. But it's north.
There's a lot of there's a fire camp up there. There's a prison fire camp in Humboldt County. They're known for growing marijuana. Humboldt County's a small city, but it's a profitable city. It's a nice place to actually live, to be honest with you. Just by what I just said.
Demographics, it stated they have their first marijuana dispensary in the city of Cal City. If you need to know that information. Where are the children? Where are they? Who has the children? Does someone have the children? Are they alive? Where are the missing boys of Cal City? We're going to chop up and dissect everything that we learned in the past couple of months pertaining to those children, all the people involved in this case, those immersed in the case. Where are those children? We're approaching month 6 once the 1st of June arrives. And this is a travesty to be talking about these children now in the beginning of what will be considered summer. Where are they?
It's a magic trick, Queen. It's a magic trick. These kids disappeared into thin air. We can point our finger, but we can't put our finger on it, if that makes sense. We can point our finger each direction or that third direction, because what we have here physically is a Venn diagram on 2 different aspects. We have a Venn diagram on the bio family being on the left side that did it, the adopted family on the right side that did it, and then we have in the middle, it's undecided, right? We're undecided now. At first we were pointing at the west.
Where are you right now? Where are you, in your opinion, of what has happened to the children and who's responsible?
You know what? After thoroughly looking at this case over and over and over, I have to say that being at that, we're at the 6-month mark almost. It's not looking good for the kids to be alive. I want to be hopeful, but I have to be honest with you. I feel the kids are deceased, and there's nobody that we could point our finger or put on handcuffs on and get a charge that's going to stick. It's if you noticed, more and more and more kidnapping, missing kids, missing people, murders have been going on lately, and we've been covering a lot of different
At an
stories.
all-time high.
But if you
To me,
cover
it's
a lot,
an all-time high.
and when we cover a lot of stories like that, there's a lot of similarities that intertwine into different cases, and
yes, it is.
And it's a sad thing to think that they're dead and deceased.
Yes,
but it's a hopeful thing for me to think that they're with God. That could be my best option.
Yes.
If they are alive, somebody's doing a hell of a job of hiding them.
A hell of a job.
Hell of a job. I can't foresee anybody being this organized that's not a unit that has done this for many, many moons. We talked about these groups that hide, children and women that are either being exploited or used in certain manners. That can protect for so long, but how long until somebody resurfaces? When does somebody come back to society? At some point, the masks are going to come off. And granted, there's going to be people that still wear masks even after the pandemic's over. I don't want to get political or anything like that, but there's going to still be people who are wearing masks just because they feel they need to, or they become accustomed to it. So it's going to still be hard for us to identify certain people with certain masks. A lot of people have masks that come up like scarves. People wear bandanas. People wear the doctor's masks. If we were to even see two little African-American kids, everyone we're going to suspect that's boys that we see in public are going to have to be them. At some point, our eyes will continue to play tricks on us if we're being too overly optimistic, I'd have to say. I want to be optimistic that they're alive, but I have to say that in my heart and the way I feel at this point, there's too good of a magic trick that could have been done to keep these boys out of society, or to keep these boys out of view, and to keep from getting in trouble. And that's why I feel the case is cold at this point. Because they can't.
Is it because of the timeline?
Well, here's the deal. We still don't have that static timeline that gives us that 100% of when they went missing.
I mean, the time, how much time has gone by. Is that why now you feel like perhaps
6 months, you guys, is a really, really sad thing. Look at the Smart case. Took 25 years. 25 years, you guys. That's a potential and possibility that could happen with Orrin and Orson, Sincere and Classic. Unfortunately, I think that we thought they were doing a good job of holding the information as the bureaus and the police departments. But I don't think they have any more than we have, you guys, at this point.
Well, that's what I thought today. I thought because naturally somebody would naturally, if they had something pertinent to tell the public, they would. Something.
Right.
But I understand that when you're still gathering information, you don't want to reveal too much because you don't want to tell the opposition that they are under scrutiny or under the radar.
Correct.
Which is understandable.
Because then people get moving around.
Yes.
Changing identities.
Yes.
Having time to be able to reestablish into society as somebody else.
Yes.
Which we figured out in the past that they're masters of organized organizing so many different names and different characters and different people that are either on Facebook or YouTube as different people. There's so many ways to keep screwing up who is who and what is what in this case, because there's so many identities out there. There's so many people. It's like roses are red, violets are blue. I'm a schizophrenic, and so am I. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's so many of these, personalities we're taking on, and then we're also dealing with the personalities of people like us, YouTubers, other people who are boots on the soil, boots on the ground. kind of tired of those terms. Being
Well, don't
there in
use them.
action, live in action, I guess.
Hey,
I
don't
guess
use
live in
them.
action would be the thing because, yeah, I don't want to use it. I
No,
don't
I
even
mean,
own boots.
look, trust
I
me,
really
don't
don't.
use them. But look, this is what I want to say. What would be interesting to know, because someone put something in about Miss Dugard being gone for so many years with a child. I'd like to know if the heavens would let us. How many people are hidden, be child or adult, and they are actually alive in somebody's damn house, dungeon, shed? Wouldn't that be interesting to know the numbers of people who are currently missing, but they are alive and someone has them and has been keeping them? And perhaps the people have gotten programmed, because that happens, Stockholm syndrome. You get used to being there. You're afraid of your captor. You don't want to do anything to make he or she or they go off, torture you, whatever, kill you. So you do whatever you have to do, even if it's year 1, year 2. You understand what I'm saying? Year 5, you have the opportunity to even probably leave out of there, walk out the door, slip outside, but you have been programmed to obey your captor. And that is even more vicious. It's to be missing, and you can actually walk out of where you are, and you have chosen not to.
Hey, Tiffany Marie, thank you for being here. Hey, thank you for everybody being respectful in the chat and being respectful to Queen. She brings the real deal and the raw deal, you guys. Like it or don't like it, you're going to watch it. Be honest with you, you're going to watch it. And the points, whether you, and we, you know what, I consider you a friend. We talk on the phone. I don't know you personally, but we know who we're talking to when we're talking to each other.
Yes.
I appreciate the knowledge that you pass down. You've been in the true crime industry for a long time outside of your channel, and you're a very talented person. And you are, and as soon as you get back into acting, I hope you keep your channel rolling, because people need people like you. People need people like SP. People need people like all these other channels, and I don't want to mention them, but you know, we need all of each other.
First gig.
I just want to thank you because you do an excellent job.
I'll be showing you what I'm doing that day, where I'm traveling that day. I'm at the Marriott. I'm at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I'm at the Chateau. That's what my lives will be about. It will not be.
And no, you know what? And I look forward to collaborating with you on hopefully this other case that we're talking about, and being able to bring it to both channels, because I think it's important that we all work together, because we all have the same goal. It's not about the clicks and the views. It's about keeping these stories alive. And I'm glad that you've stuck this out. I'm glad every creator have weathered the storm. Even the subscribers, they come up and they leave and they come back, and you know, it takes all of them as well to make this community great. And I'm just so proud to be a part of a community with you guys. And I just want to say thank you for being raw, but being uncensored into a point where you get people's attention and you keep them on the case. And I just want to thank you for that and your friendship.
Thank you. And thank you for joining me. And thanks for being my friend. Thank you so much. Hold on one second.
We got 191 in the chat, 74 likes. You guys get those likes up, get that algorithm changed. I shared this on my channel. If you have a channel and you're able to share it, please share it out if you can. Everything helps. You guys can do cash sign Big Angie 129 if you want to cash app this channel.
Yes, thank you so kindly.
You got her links coming out. Yes, keep this channel going. We need this. I was hyped. I had a great day with the Memorial Day, and happy Memorial Day to everyone too as well. You know, I got to spend some time at the cemetery today, and it really to see these headstones, and I don't mean to change course for a second, but to see these headstones and so many innocent kids, and so many kids that are under 20 years old that have headstones. It makes you really think more about your family and what's going on in today's world. And, you know, we all have to be cautious of each other, respect each other, love each other, and try to be better every day, and keep these stories alive, and try to make a difference so we don't see as much of these stories. This is getting ridiculous on how many kids are going missing and dying and people in general. I just can't believe how fast you recognize what trouble we're in when you actually open your eyes and see that it's not just a cubicle job. You just don't go to the same job every day, live the same life, keep your head down, make the same dinner, sleep the same way, wake up and start again. You got to keep your guys' eyes open because there's too many parents that are unfit to be even parents out there. And now we have to see as co-parents for these families. And if you got to call CPS, if you see a family that's struggling and not taking care of their kids, man, make that phone call before we see more of these cases, because it's sadder and sadder every day, and it's emotional because when we're working these cases, you get an emotional attachment. You can't become emotionally attached to the people in the cases, but you got to find justice for the ones who are actually the victims. And there's just so many victims out there, you guys. So,
Crystal,
sick world, you guys.
The one that's timed out, it's out. It's out. Total. No second chances.
So back to what I was saying. I believe they're deceased. I don't know if they even have a suspect at this point. I think they have suspicion like we do, but there's not enough circumstantial evidence to put somebody away without a body at this point. It's kind of like the Morphew case. They had enough on Barry to circumstantially put him away and be confident that it's going to stick. They can't do that in this case. They have nobody that they can do that to, even if it's a neglect charge. If you guys feel that Jacqueline or Giselle didn't do their job as a parent watching them right and they were neglectful, even a neglect charge, what is that going to do? They're already going to court for mandated courses to get their kids back. And if Orrin and Orson West were
no thanks. I'd rather they have that charge. Right. Like in Evelyn's case, that mother, they knew she was lying when they found the child in the shed. That proved it because the chief said it.
Right. But what I'm saying, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be charged. I'm not saying that nobody should be charged. I'm just saying that charge wouldn't hold them long enough to get any kind of murder charge. And they would be pretty much done with them after that. If they really feel they're involved, they would just wait on that. They wouldn't do that kind of charge to try to hold them because they'd bail out. Stunned. I mean, Jamal would bail out.
That was the first charge they had on Evelyn's mother, Megan. That is the initial charge, was child neglect. She's been lying.
What do you feel about the Cal City boys? You feel they're alive? Do you feel they're dead?
I do not feel they are alive. I feel like they've been gone a long time. That is the reason why we don't have any information. That's why no information has been released to the public by law enforcement, 2 cities now, because they've been gone long enough. And as I've stated to many of you in my past lives, you can't find something that you didn't know was missing in the first place. You see, they've been gone a duration. Nobody knew. So nobody was looking for them. And that's what bothers me, is let's just say they went gone for a while before they even got to Cal City. You mean not one friend, not one neighbor, not one relative was curious about the children? Why you don't visit with them, take pictures, send pictures? But then I also have to ask myself the dynamic of these people who were raising them. Were they really friendly with their family? Did they talk to them every day? Did they send pictures every day? See, those things matter because you do have people who live in a world who don't have close family members, friends. So they're not posting pics with them, sending them pictures, tagging them on Facebook. So you don't know what the hell they got going on. And perhaps these people live like that. Because I just get a very weird
and then we start. I'm sorry, we have a lag, Queen. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
And then we see these posts like, hey, I'm going to Florida. I still got to live my life and become, and do the things I'm supposed to do. I believe that was a bio family member who posted that on Facebook. And we all, patronized it. But again, nobody's in cuffs yet. I would be for my kids, and I love my kids, and I was able to and I'm able to see them and hug them every day and things like that. And these kids aren't that way, but I just don't know at this point. I mean, I can't put a motive on either. I can't put a motive on either side of why they would do this at this point. I mean, we've all pointed the fingers. We all came up with who was there when they were there. Certain other people were, digging deeper into personal people, but I still, even with the amount of Crips that were there or people that were there that are on YouTube or Facebooking this, it still doesn't. It's still just a mystery. We could have been doing this months late. We could have been doing all this news coverage and this missing person months or up to a year late. These kids could have been missing. They could have had other kids with them. They could have had, you know what I'm saying? Like, when did they go missing?
We don't have no idea, except for law enforcement probably has an idea by now of how long the children have been gone. So for Bakersfield Police Department to finally say, notify us if you've seen the children in a year, information about them in the past year, that to me was detrimental because that's a very long time. To get gone in a month is crucial. With no contact, nobody's heard from you, a phone call, a picture, a text, but a year? Do you know, that's a long ass time. So let's just say these children were murdered. You're talking about one whole year from the date you went live and said that on a news broadcast.
Even if they were murdered on the 20th, that's enough time. 24 hours is enough time for somebody to take these bodies way the hell away from California and leave them somewhere else, dispose of them somehow. We could have been off by 2-3 days. And usually in the first 48 to find missing people that are alive, within the first 48, you're looking for the dead body. You're looking for the murder suspect. You're looking for the weapons. You're looking for the casings. You're looking for the clues. Waiting for anything to come back from the FBI or whatever they're testing. The things move so quick. We would have found out what happened. Look at Amari. Look at all these other cases. They're cut and dry.
Thank you.
This one, and I have to say, this Cash Gurnan case, I have no freaking clue at this point. If there's more people involved, who's involved? I mean, Cash Gurnan, we know that one person involved for sure, but I don't know on this one.
Miss Daring said to text her tomorrow, please.
Who did?
Daring.
Oh, got it. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Well, I want to address the comment you made because you were trying to be very subtle in your commentary about the bio mother. We're going to say that. Anyway, as far as that comment about Florida or anything else, my thing is she checked out long before the children were ever removed from her custody. She checked out while the children were in state's custody in the time frame I'm sure that was given for her to retrieve her children back. So she's checked out a long time ago. So to post such things is irresponsible and it's petty because she had been checked out. And that type of foolishness, I don't engage in. That's why I tell people I don't do that Facebook. I don't really care what people talk about on Facebook. The lie book, because that's exactly what it is. It's the lie book. You can be whoever you want to be on the lie book. And we're learning that with the YT. You can be whoever you want to be on here. It's all the same. But for somebody to act like, hey, I got to go live my best life. I got to go do me. Honey, you've been doing you. You were doing you when you had your children. That's what got the children out of your custody. It's because you were doing you. And probably then, before we were using the terminology, best life, Oprah Winfrey coined that. You've been doing you and your best life. And all right. Kids in CPS since 2017, adopted in 2019. 2 years is not a fast adoption. No, sweet one. For those who are oblivious to the process, Mr. Umno, thanks, fell off. But that's right. That's right, 2 years. And see, we don't even know how long it was before those people at the state said, hey, we've done all we can do with you. We've tried talking to you, notifying you, blah, blah, blah. It's a no-go. These children are permanently out of your peripheral, out of your grasp. See, we don't even really know what they have said to the process with them. Because if they're not hearing from you and you're not following up on your visits and your guidelines and things you're supposed to, protocols to try to get your children back, who's to say they didn't say, you know what, we done with this. Hell, it could have been month 2, month 3, month 4. I don't know, because I don't know.
Well, now here's the deal. I believe if the kids are older, you have longer to complete.
Thank you, Missy.
You have longer to complete any courses or mandated classes. Now, if they're younger, you're under a certain mandated time. I think it's anywhere between 18 and 36 months that they have time to complete, or maybe 12 to 36 months that they have time to complete what they need to complete, what they filed with the courts and everything that happened.
Doug, that's a long time. Come on now.
Yeah, no, I mean, but they're getting started. So Trezell and Jackman have to start their courses soon, is what I'm saying. So if they're going to get any of their kids.
You talking about Ozzy and Harriet. I didn't know who you talking about. I thought you were talking about that other baby mama. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. Maybe we have a lag or I missed some part of it.
Queen, I'm 50. I drift off sometime.
You have to drift off sometimes.
Queen drifts off. I'm just praying I don't do that behind the wheel of the car.
What? No, I can't see the chat right now, but I can't see the chat right now, but can we do can you put 1 in the chat if you think this case is still on the verge of being solved, or 2 if you think it's a cold case? Where are we at right now with what we feel about Orrin and Orson West? Are we all undecided now at this point? I don't know. I mean, I wish I knew how many people thought they were dead, how many people thought they were alive, and how many people were just undecided. But at this point, I have to go with them.
So what is 2 exactly?
You could just say one. What you can just do. You can just do 1 if the case is still being ongoing and you think that they're going to get something going, or 2 if it's going to be a cold case.
Well, I'm gonna say number 3 or 4 is recovery.
Yeah, 3 would be a recovery case, but that would still be a cold case because if they're still doing recovery case as we're talking right now.
The pallet says 2 equals dead and cold. So I'll be with number 2 then. Yes, I believe this is cold. And I do believe that the children have been on a while. And that's the reason why we are still in limbo month 5.
This is so important to talk about because now we have to talk about why it's cold and look at different directions and different aspects. If we keep going back and going live about the same aspects of this case and talking about, yeah, well, they should have watched the kids better, or the dog's name wasn't Chalk, or this and that. Get off all that old stuff. Maybe we've gone back to day 1 too many times on this case. I think we've done the day 1 thing too many times at this point to where now we got to move on to a new day 1, which is today. Today's a new day 1. This case is cold. Now we got to find out other reasonings and why this happened. But as for now, I think the cops would have any other answers that we don't have, or 1 step ahead of us that we aren't. I don't think they're too far ahead of us.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something that I've learned about people in general, and I've learned this just from these cases. People play possum, people lie, people manipulate, people don't want to be in people's business. And this is the reason why we have the problems we have in general with ourselves and children, abuse, neglect. People don't want to get involved. People see people mistreating their children. People they're taking care of, they won't say anything. People will notice they haven't seen a child following in behind the mama, daddy, cousin, auntie. They may whisper to Pookie Ray Ray over here, but they dare not say anything to that person who's the guardian. Because depending on the relationship they have, don't have, they don't say anything. They could be close.
Got nobody that's come forward on these people and how great of these people are. Trezell's a great person. Jacqueline's a great person. Jacqueline's mom's a phenomenal person. The West are phenomenal people. The Bio family's phenomenal people. They do community service. Nothing. We don't. No church people. No school people.
But like I said, people don't like to talk about other folks' business, meddle in their business. They'll talk about them behind their back, but they're gonna go to them and be like, "Hey, I ain't seen that little boy you've been bringing outside for the past 2 weeks. Where's that little boy? Where's that little girl?" And then family may just go ahead and say, "Oh, he said he sent them to Arkansas." but you ain't got a picture, seen nothing, heard nothing. They don't talk about it no more. Do you understand what I'm saying? It happens every day. That's why I said I'd like to know the count too of people kidnapped and are alive. And then this situation is also prevalent. People lie and say the children are alive, but they're dead.
The best thing that we can go off of is if the 64,000 number or the 62,000 number and then the 43,000 deficit. So if you minus that, we can look at around 18 to 20,000 that we could probably justify through those numbers, probably close to that, maybe a little less. But
you said 18,000?
Yeah. Because if we have 63,000 that just go missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we have a total of 63,000 people missing, and then they have 42 to 43,000 or whatever that comes back, that they're alive and that they're accounted for, then we can go off of what the difference is to what, we have no answers to. Just in California, that's 18,000 cases, and I'd say that's a minimum. That's not just, and that's not a John Doe or a murder case. I'm just talking about missing people.
As hard as it is to ask, who buries those poor boys? Adopt a bio or very good question. Yes, I'd like to hear No Thanks answer that.
Well, I'd have to say that the adopted family is now considered the legal parents. Mm-hmm. And so the bio family really, besides, they're just like the carrier of the kids at this point. Like they were paid to have the baby at this point. You know what I mean? They have no standing. They have no standing in Orrin and Orson's life. And if Orrin and Orson's name is completely changed from Classic and Sincere in legal documents, which I haven't seen yet, but if they are, then we know them as Orrin and Orson West, and they belong to Trezell and Jacqueline as their kids.
Well, let me tell you,
the bio family has no. Besides a GoFundMe opportunity, they have no opportunity in having anything to do with Orrin and Orson West.
Let me enlighten you on a story that just happened recently of the black lady and husband out of South Carolina that beat the little white girl to death that they had adopted. They adopted she and her brother, and they beat her to sleep, and they now in jail. That black couple out of South Carolina. When it came down to the burial, which was just a few months ago, the bio family wanted to bury the child. Do you know they had to go back and forth with the state of South Carolina to get information?
You have to have all the documentation. You need to have legal authority to get the body released.
I'm just giving a for instance, Doug. They finally, the state went on and let it be to where they could bury the child. See, my thing is, ain't no need of arguing when somebody is dead because it's disrespectful. Rather, I know what happened to the child with the bio mother to get them to the adoptive parents. We know something bad had to happen with the bio family because they went to the adoptive parents and the damn adoptive parents ended up killing the little girl. But nonetheless, she still needs to be buried. So let somebody bury her. Maybe that's their way of realizing or saying, hey, we messed up. We made a mistake. We did wrong by this child and the other little boy. We want to bury the little girl. Because you already know it's a no-go with the adoptive parents because they're both incarcerated. So they couldn't bury the little girl.
Well, we're looking at the same thing.
Nobody's going to work with them. They're locked up.
We're looking at the same thing with Cash Gernon. Cash Gernon still is stuck in between. I mean, there's somebody has to come by with authority with the proper documentation to be able to have the body released or the proper burial done. And it's a sad thing.
I want you to address a question that's in the chat. Miss Tiffany talking about the name change was shortly after the children were adopted. She's saying the children would have known their names. I thought that too at first, but then I thought children are receptive even in their 6-7 month range. How do you feel about them changing the children's names?
It's theirs. What if you adopt a dog and you don't like the adopted dog's name?
You know what? Now, did you have to go there really?
And you change it. I mean, how else am I going to put it? I mean, if you're making something your own, I can't tell you how you're going to make it your own.
Well, that's exactly what Trezell said during that live.
It's not my job to tell you how to run your life.
Never mind. We named them.
There you go. I mean, then he stands firm to that. And that means he loved those kids, because what he did is he took something and made it his and made it theirs. Despite what everybody feels about them, they made them theirs. And if there's legal documentation and the kids' names were changed, you know what I mean? People legally change their name as adults and they adapt to it. Kids would be more adapted to it, especially kids who are a little slower or have hearing problems or this or that. I mean, you could teach them to spell their name differently and teach them how it sounds differently and what their name really is. And they may have thought they were confused for a while. You know, I don't know. I'm not that in that position, but I don't. I feel that if I were going to adopt them, I wouldn't have chose Orrin and Orson, just because
I would not have either. That Orson, I think of the whale and the old story. It's too much.
Yeah, and my kids were conceived in Las Vegas,
But
and
I
I tell
believe
them,
they're significant to Trezell. I'm gonna put money on that.
well, you know, to lighten the load a little bit and they'll kind of lighten the mood. My kids, you know, I always told them they're the tale of two cities, because in California we have cities named Carson and Colton, and they're both in California, you know, hours away from me. And I tell my kids that's where they're conceived. They're the tale of two cities. But I didn't have the heart to tell them it was Las and Vegas, because it was Las Vegas both times. Then it was a secondary house. But you know, kids, whatever age they are, they can adapt to certain scenarios, certain.
Children are very adaptable. Children are very adaptable.
Correct. And that's why it's so much easier to learn a language when you're younger, because your brain works differently. Your folds are building, you know, the four lobes of your brain are building, you know, twice as fast as an older person's that stops growing or something. I mean, there's so many ratios that, I mean, kids are just, it's a known fact that when you're younger, you retain more information and
that's why they tell you to teach children different things, because they're more susceptible to learning than an older person.
Have you ever tried to win? Have you ever tried to win Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I can't win that show.
I'm not trying to.
I need colors, shapes, and farm animals, something that's, you know, basic and easy, whose mom maybe put out, makes a better lunch. I don't know.
I'll be doing like this. I can see Russia from here. Folks like, you know, you can't see no damn Russia from Tennessee. Now you stop all that foolishness.
Oh, man.
That's when you know you dumb.
Oh, Lord, man, you just can't fix some people. You can't fix some things, but
you know you can't see Russia from over there, and that just shut that foolishness.
You know what it takes sometimes. You know, some of these cases become so foolish that, you know, we some of the stuff that we have said in the beginning, if we look back now to what we said in the beginning, even if we're still on the same, you know, opinionated on who did it, a lot of the stuff that we were claiming is just irrelevant and just stupid stuff, like the porn shop and stupid things like that. Like, we had so many things within this case.
I love that. I love it. You know, the Queen said, they in there. That's them. They still get their hanky-panky on. They ain't studying y'all on YT. Gossiping about them. They said, yeah, we went to the porn shop and got us some goodies. Excuse me? Because guess what? A sociopath would go in a porn shop. Come on, Queen. A sociopath would say, I'm in it to win. You ain't got nothing on me. I'm untouchable. I'm invincible. Hell yeah, I'm in that damn porn shop. Now what about it?
Right. And see, that would be, you know, but we're not getting any response from Jacqueline and Trezell.
Oh, no. Don't you find that strange? They ain't responded that we know of. Now, they could have been using aliases on social media.
Oh, yeah, sock accounts or troll accounts. Yeah, possibly.
Not directly coming forward where we can see their face and voice for them to say, yes, I am this person, and you got it all wrong. We're innocent, blah, blah, blah. They ain't even went to the news. You know, I'm adamant on
that is my next thing. Brian Wang has fallen off the world's case on this too.
Brian trying to eat. Look, California had to live. Y'all vegetables and everything.
You know, it was a quick 1-2 punch with that last statement, and then we haven't heard shit. Perla's gone.
Banya trying to get up there with
it's canceled Christmas. It's like the Wild West. All you hear, there's tumbleweeds.
He
Dang,
trying
I
to
mean,
get up there with Nancy Grace and Big Time. He ain't got time for to be sitting up here wasting. He got other
we
stories.
can't even get America's Most Wanted to run the right story. You know what I mean? Like we have so many faults in this case, starting from Cal City Police to where we're at
Crystal,
now,
your
to where
story.
it's been throw a 10 up over this circus. It's a shit show.
Adults can take care of themselves. The children cannot. Exactly. They cannot. Well, guess what? This is what I want to know, because you're out there in the state, but not necessarily in that vicinity. What do you know about the actual moving of Wanda West and husband and family? Did she and her husband and whoever else stayed in the house, did they move from that said address where they were living?
Do you mind if I say somebody's name that was accused of being Jacqueline's mother?
No.
Okay, Cherry Medina.
Didn't I just say no?
Oh, I thought you said no, you didn't mind.
No, I don't want you to bring it up. Nobody name in this chat.
Okay, well, okay. So the video and the pictures of the house, the way it looked,
hypothetical.
The way it looked as a recent came from this other person, and the same car that was covered that the West owned previously was in that driveway, and this is recent photos. So I'd have to assume that that house is still occupied. I don't know if it's physically occupied every day, but I'd have to say, but they still own it and occupy it.
So you have heard that or seen that people are coming in and out of there still?
I don't want to lie to you and say yes, I've heard that they come in and out. I can see relevance that they still live there and remnants that they still live there due to trash, due to the car being there that they had covered. I'd have to assume that somebody's there if there's trash.
It's the car that was covered. Is it uncovered, Doug?
Still covered.
Okay, so you saying you think that somebody stayed there because trash has trash in it?
Yeah, they're trash cans, and the trash is weekly being taken out.
Right, so you wouldn't empty it if there's nothing in it. That's what you're trying to say.
I mean, if nobody's living there, you would have no trash, I'd assume, right?
Right, it's true. I got it. Okay. Well, where's she at then? Where is she and the husband?
See, I don't know. I was working with this
come and knock on our door.
I was working with this open source intelligence network, but it
waiting for you.
What happened?
I'm singing Three's Company. Where are they?
They're at the Regal Beagle. Hey, exactly, because you know what? That's a trivia question. If anybody knows what the bar is of Three's Company, that's the Regal Beagle, baby.
No thanks. Get off my line.
Jack Tripper was my favorite. Oh man.
Wait a minute.
Miss Snow wasn't too bad either, I tell you. I mean, blondes aren't too bad. Oh Janet. Lord. Janet was beautiful too. She was that sassy little. Yes, she ran that household.
Short hair, but she was a very beautiful.
She ran that shit.
Lady. Yes. I'm done with you.
Jack Tripper was just a pimp, man. I tell you.
Well, who the hell? Well, guess what? Since you want to crack jokes, who the hell is Mr. Roper?
Larry's landlord.
Wait a minute. No.
Mr. Roper came after Mr. Furley. We had Mr. Furley and then Mr. Roper. They were both the landlords.
Who in this story was Mr. Roper?
He was a landlord of the building.
No, I'm talking about in this story of this case. Stay woke.
Oh, shit.
You go to bed.
I'm kicking myself right now. I should have never brought up Three's Company.
Yeah, I brought it up. Yeah, you sleep. You don't remember who brought it up anyway.
It's your fault. It's your fault.
But this is the question that many people have asked and commented on since day one.
Come and knock on this door. Come with it. I'm dead. I know, right?
Did the children ever make it to Cal City? Go.
Yes.
Really? Yes. Why?
I believe they were there on the 19th and they've been seen. We still got to consider Jesse. Jesse's story is not out there. He's in Texas.
What Jesse say?
I haven't talked to Jesse, but I'm gonna have to say we got to consider his story. I heard that he had verified that he had saw the kid, or somebody there, or a neighbor on that side of the street had seen the kids there before, and they saw them on the 19th.
So I'd have to assume the last time that we saw those kids were 19th in Cal City.
Okay, but 19, that's also the same day allegedly that a video was we find out later to YouTube, and that they only got in the car with 4 children.
Well, you'd have to also and I would hate to use the word deduce, but you'd also have to watch the videos too, where there's shadows of them being carried. So if there's 2 toddlers being carried, if you're not paying attention to how big the shadow is or how the shadow looks, you could mistake 6 for 4, because the kids were carried in, put in the car seats, and the other kids you see walking out.
Somebody wants to know in the chat, how do you feel about the dogs not picking up the scent outside near the door and nowhere?
Say the kids were picked up from the doorway and carried, that's where the scent would stop.
Well, I always thought that too, that they were carried out if they did make it.
You'd have to assume that somebody took them out of there in a manner.
Junior Lee said, quit using the word deduce.
Right. Oh, shit, I want to kick myself in the head.
We gotta send you to Webster. Find you a new word.
I know, right? Oh, cancel Christmas.
You're the first white person I've heard say that.
Oh, that's one of my sayings, man.
I knew this older black lady. That was her favorite line. You can cancel Christmas. And she had a real deep voice.
You said it just like her.
You said it? You sounded like
Christmas.
You cancel Christmas. Can I?
You know when the voice starts. You know when the voice starts kind of high and then it goes lower.
I said,
you cancel Christmas. You know you're in trouble. Yeah.
I want to tell her I like Christmas though. Okay. Sorry, you guys. Just a little humor. Forgive me. But if they were there since September, those dogs should have been all over that place. Okay, that's
now again, I don't know. I know we had very little rains here in California between November and December. Let's even go back a little further between September and December. We can go back a little bit, because I'll tell you, the dirt out there gets hard. It's like dirt and gravel. It's like what you use on the to make roadways at some point. The DG. It's dirt and gravel mix, and in the desert, when the rain hits it, it turns to concrete basically. Okay. So there's so it gets really, really, really hard. So depending on when they moved in, we know when they moved in. It was actually in September. Because the loan. I
saw that area view today.
The loan took 100 days.
Pulling up my information through Google, and they show that area view, because they're saying that's the 3rd largest city by land. Man, it's just a little block of Cal City and the houses, and then the rest is just land going all the way back to like little mountains or whatever.
I basically lived in Cal City for 3 months. Put it that way. I was there every day, droning, searching, reporting between Bakersfield, Cal City, Tehachapi, all these areas. So, for 3 months, I spent the time out there, and you really get a feel for who comes in and out and when they come in and out. They make all their money. And you'll notice if you ever go there, there's so many places closed down there. There's a place called Gloria's that's a Mexican restaurant. They have a Rite Aid. They have a McDonald's. They have a Taco Bell. They have a Dollar General. And it looks like the H&R Block is still open, but there's a bunch of businesses closed. There's a dentist available, one dentist available, one banker available, basically. It's one of those kind of towns.
Yeah. Crystal, I wonder if they're paying the house payment.
I'm sorry, what?
Crystal says, I wonder if they are paying the house payment.
Cal City or Bakersfield?
The one house in Cal City, Doug. What's wrong with you?
I believe that they don't, they're not paying on that house at all. I think they let that go.
All that trouble to get a house out in the middle of nowhere, and you would start paying the note? Now that is horrible.
How are you going to pay the note if you can't afford it? All their income.
How did you pay the note? How did you get the damn house in the first place? I'll wait.
Well, when they had the kids in the first place.
You ain't had no job in the first place.
But you had the kids. You had the kids and their income. They were making over $6,000 a month with their kids.
Been a way to get the house through a bank or nobody else.
I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
I'm just saying.
I can't even paint a picture for you that makes sense.
They can't paint a picture. It costs to buy paintbrushes.
Yeah, I just can't paint it. I couldn't even make it make sense to anybody that way. I really can't. I mean, and the houses out there, you think about it. Okay, so where I live, I bought my first house when I got married and had 2 kids. I bought my first house when I was around 30 years old, and it was around an $800,000 house in California, but not in Cal City. I'm in I'm by the beaches in LA and things like that. Now going to Cal City, you're going down from an $800,000. I had a close to 3,000 square foot house. Their house was probably 1,500 to 1,800 square feet, but they only the housing market out there was 175 for that house around, and they ended up paying more because they couldn't qualify for this the loan they needed, and I guess they agreed to a larger payment on the house, but they still were able to qualify.
What happened? Did he fall off? Oh, Lord. Sorry. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
You canceled my Christmas.
Listen, Tiffany, I believe that was Tiffany that said something about what if they gave clothes to somebody, other people's clothes, for the dogs to smell? Because that's an interesting thing I always thought of too. Whose clothes did they give? Because you're talking about they had 4 smaller children. Because my understanding, there's a 3-year-old.
I was told from somebody that's working inside this case that what they took out of the house was socks, underwear, sheets, toothbrushes, and a comb and combs to see if they had any evidence the boys have ever been in that house in Cal City.
Okay.
And nothing came back with DNA showing that they were there.
Right. And one thing we do know that they could test for sure with another person would be Ryan Dean.
That's the only person besides Pettis. I mean, you can do Pettis and you can do Alfonso Waddle. I mean, those are the 2 biological fathers. So you have to get blood from Waddle.
I'm like Miss Millie in The Color Purple. I don't know him either.
Yeah, I like the orange is the new black.
I don't look. I'm like Miss Millie when she was giving Miss Sophia in the car trying to drive. She trying to say, "Can my cousin squeeze betwixt us?" Miss Millie looked and said, "I don't know him either. I don't know these people. I don't know them baby daddies."
You know what? And you know what? At some point,
baby daddy. Wait, baby daddy. Ooh, I ain't got enough fingers. Shut up, Queen.
And you know what? We really don't even have DNA stating that they are the fathers. She could have been sleeping around with other people. We don't know.
She works hard for the money.
I almost did you make me do the Carlton.
Hey, I'm stuck on that Soul Train.
I'm telling you, you're going back to American Bandstandish.
Wait a minute. I love that little train. Soul Train is coming.
I'm the
East
guy
South
with the
Cal
I'm the
City.
guy with the broom. I'm the guy with the broom that sweeps through off the stage at the Apollo. I'm sweeping.
That's what that Soul Train see Cal City. He backed up. He said, "Oh hell to the no. We gonna do the electric slide backwards. We's not going there." Shut your mouth. Hit the link.
We need a little more song and dance in life. Laughter is a spice of life, and so is music.
I need it. I need it right about now.
Yep.
I need it right about now. Come on, somebody else, come on up. We've been on an hour and 10 minutes. Doug from No Thanks Investigates. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to where we are right now with the children of Cal City. They are still currently missing out of the state of California. No leads, no more conversation, nothing from LE. Where are they? How did they get gone? Who got them gone? Are they alive? Are they deceased? Is this a recovery?
Who has them? Who would have them if they're not deceased? Where would they be? What state? We got to think that they're not in California. They're doing too good of a job if they are alive to be hiding them in California, anywhere in California, because HSI may have taken
the rights. The other father's prime suspect, IMO. Sweet, what are you talking about? She signed away her rights.
What does IMO mean?
I don't know, child. That's that Facebook and internet talk. You know, the queen don't know about that.
People are like, I got EBT, EDD, ED, LOL. It's like, holy shit! Why is abbreviated such a such a long word? First of all,
I didn't even know what it was. I had to ask a complete stranger. What is LOL?
Oh Lord, really?
Laugh out loud. This was probably 2000.
Why didn't you ask your brother?
Ask my brother.
Yeah, a complete stranger is probably weird. What's ED? Shit.
No. I asked what was LOL back in 2012.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about some ED stuff.
I didn't know what it was. Somebody had messaged me back, and I guess they didn't like what I was saying, and they was like, LOL. And I asked this girl, I said, do you know what this means, LOL? And she said, it means laugh out loud. And I said, and I get crunk. I said, hell, ain't shit fun about what I just said. Oh, he cracking jokes.
What is and then rolling ROFL, whatever. I mean, LGBTQ, whatever, TQ, whatever. We got so many abbreviations. I can't even.
Amy Broom says, what about all these sightings of the boys? That's a very good question. Go, Doug, because you don't want the queen to get crunk on that one. Oops, sorry.
All these sightings were a bunch of hungry people looking for a story, you guys. Taking advantage of a bunch of people's hearts.
Yes.
Who were invested in this case,
yes,
and making them have hope that wasn't there. And after investigating it and being out here and seeing stuff that you couldn't, and only releasing stuff that I could in good measures, good taste, without attacking other channels for what they're doing.
Is disrespectful to the children? Is disrespectful to anybody that, like you said, care about a child?
There's some sick individuals out there,
or an adult,
sick people out there who are on the internet in this YouTube.
Look how many places they've been seen. Look how many places they were allegedly seen, and not one concrete evidence has come forward to bring the children to fruition.
Let me put something for you. So if you're on calendar for the courts, somebody saw that there were some cases in February for Trezell and Jacqueline at the courts in Kern County. Then the story came out about the sighting, and that they were at that Dollar General or something out there, or another store out there. There was another place out there where they were seen sleeping in the parking lot near the courthouse or something, or yada, 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 which would make sense. You can't take that statement and be like, okay, that's not true. Mm-hmm. Because if they have court cases, it could place them there, giving these people false hope. People are such internet geniuses. And there's such people out there that don't care about these kids, that would throw so many wrenches in so many cases like this by being internet trolls or a computer genius, going and changing people's my lives, changing Wikipedias to make sense for people to live together and people to be families in different websites, without people knowing how to go and fix that stuff themselves. So like this other person was put in as Jacqueline's mom. That was a mistake done on a website, because anybody can put public information in there or make it seem like those people are part of a family, until those people verify they're not and get it taken off. That could have, I just had to fix my profile again today. There was like 18 people they said I'm related to that I'm not. I've never heard of. They don't even live near me. Different countries, different
Wait a minute.
states.
You ain't Jay-Z first cousin?
Me? Yes, I am.
Look,
I am.
Tina got a question about Miss West and the patio. Did she get a concrete patio? I don't know why these people think that you know so much out there in California. Who is Doug that y'all asking all these questions? Yeah, I see it.
My name is God backwards with a little U in it. It's Doug. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Did she put in the
You know what?
patio? I can't believe y'all asking these questions. It amazes me. I'm not trying to be funny,
Well,
but
let me try to answer it. So the concrete, are you talking about the concrete where they said chalk was being drawn?
I don't know. She just said concrete and Miss West house. That's all I see. Scroll back up.
We're talking about concrete, Miss West. I could assume she's talking about the patio at the Aspen Avenue house where they were drawing with chalk. When I first got there, to be honest with you, there was a table with an umbrella in it.
Hit the link.
When I went back a few different times, that table was gone. They've done more digging. There was more holes in the ground. You could tell that wood was stacked up again. Somebody had been maintaining the property on top of searching. So there was being action done, but that concrete was there before. So there's no kids underneath the concrete. I think that's what she's kind of getting at. If there's concrete, maybe the kids are buried under it. I'm assuming that's what she means. And no, what we did see was Mike's house. And again, Mike's house was concrete in the back, and they have a fire pit where they burn wood. So, some have some conversions, but when the West moved in, that concrete slab was already there next to the back door.
I don't know where y'all listen to these people. See, this is what's the problem. I've been saying this with these type of cases. These people are ratchet that's involved in the case, and then people start assuming stuff, hearing stuff, and they pass it as if it's a spoken word. It's just sickening to me. The rumors. I don't get it. Please hit the link if you want to join the live.
I want to say that I'm not guilty, but I got to be guilty of have speculation. And when I first started the West case,
what? Okay.
See, I have to say that my speculation, starting with the West interview until today, when I see what was behind the interview and how everything led up to the interview, the way I saw it at first is totally different.
He has no knowledge of the grandparents' house being dug up or a new old patio out there. That was pure dirt back there. I never saw concrete. The concrete patio.
I heard there was a new shed or shed upgrades. I heard there was shed upgrades or a new shed or something put back there in the backyard. If you're talking about Wanda's house.
But not a concrete patio. The concrete patio was a kitchen at the Aspen house, not
they can go back to my videos, my drone videos, and you see both the houses and how they are. If that's what they really want to see, that's the best way to decipher it. What it looks like in actual day and how it looks.
Thank you. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you. All super chats are welcome during the live. Please check out Mr. No Thanks channel. Amen. What else are we missing?
I don't think we're missing anything besides where the hell are they? Where are these boys?
They at Wanda's house. What you told that girl? They at your house. Wanda's wicked.
Oh, Lord.
Let me tell you something. When somebody sent me that video months ago, and I saw that girl yelling out that window, and I heard that heifer say that, I would have got out my car and drug Wanda West up out that damn yard.
She got a little sassy, didn't she? She got a
what is the deal?
But I guess at some point when people are walking by, when you're walking your family and people are yelling out the window, chalk, and yelling at you and shit like that, and you can't even live your life. Maybe Wanda was just sick of it and she reacted the way she reacted. But I can't make excuses for her, nor can I say. I hate
to announce this to everybody because I'm going to say this and I want to hear no more about it. Doug is a random person who does not live in Cal City or Bakersfield, so he doesn't have any knowledge of a concrete slab on Wanda West's house or the Aspen Avenue house where Jacqueline and Trezell lived. They have dug up the property on Aspen Avenue 1,001 times, and nothing came out of the backyard or inside of the house.
And I also tried to pull permits. To see if building permits were pulled anytime from when they moved in to where they could have added anything. And everything was the same. Previous owner had it. So
Crazy.
Concrete slab outside of the West property in Cal City was already there. I didn't see any concrete slabs in the backyards of Wanda West and Philip West property. I droned it, and I was on the neighbor's house one time that we were let there the very first time when we left the cemetery. And I looked back there and I didn't see any concrete slabs besides where you'd walk out the back door or around like a little perimeter of the house where there may be.
I don't know why you're explaining yourself. The police already told you they didn't find nothing back there, so I don't know why anybody keep asking about slabs.
I'm just trying to explain what I saw.
What I'm just saying, but the police already let you know, the public, they didn't find anything at their house, inside or out. If they found something, we wouldn't be up here making videos. Okay.
I'm gonna grab my own ear and take myself out.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you so much. Yes, I make myself laugh. If Hoffa was buried back there, he'd have been done got up. Shut your mouth.
But we would have had something by now.
Let's be truthful. No thanks. If Hoffa was buried on Aspen Avenue with all that commotion, he'd been done got up and went and got him a Coca-Cola. I'm dead.
Shit.
Y'all messing with my resting place. All this damn commotion. Hit the link.
And then this last week. And then yesterday we see this poor boy who's found.
This is a tough crowd.
And nobody's looking for him in Cal City. Who looks like he'd been abused a bit, a little bruised up.
Maybe he's related to Ryan Dean.
How's this happen? How is this happening?
That's Ryan Dean cousin.
Parents, get it together. Get it together, parents. If you're gonna procreate, take a test. There needs to be a Scantron. I don't even care if it's one question. Just you know what I mean? Like, how can you spell your name? Maybe start off with something simple.
Please stop. Can you spell hello? That's the problem. It's so easy to mate, like animals. Animals mate. They don't have to know each other. She stays with the young for a while, then poof, push them off. It's over with. Humans, a little bit different. You don't know if you're cut out for the job until you actually get in the job. That's just common sense. But once you realize it's not for you, it makes no logical sense to continuously have another child. You're not making it with baby one. So then you go get knocked up shortly after a year, whatever the time span is. Why would you do that?
You should have to learn to hunt before you could procreate. You should have to learn to hunt first before you procreate. Because if you don't have patience,
wait.
If you don't have patience to get that animal, and do what it takes to do it right and get your food and be a hunter gatherer, you're not going to be able to ever get that. You're always going to be prey, or you're always going to be looking for that prey. You know what I mean? And it just seems like as parents today, we need more euthanization of people than we do need of animals at this point.
What I'm reading is euthanization.
Yeah, just trying to be nice about it. We should be euthanizing certain people, for even trying to procreate.
That's the whole point. That, as I say, you're not going to know the job until you get in. It's like any job. Some people will argue that it shouldn't be a job. It should be a privilege. Each person's entitled to how they want to word it. But my thing is, I do not believe in baby making. Just keep having sex as if there's no free birth control at the health department. There's free birth control. There's free condoms. So there's no reason to continuously keep having children that you do not want. And then you spit them out, and then you carry them around like it's a Barbie doll. Today you like her, tomorrow you don't. You put her in a shelf and put her over here. And that's how children play with toys. You
create these shooters. You create these angry kids. You create these angry people for what you did to them in their childhood that become angry or don't have choices. They kill people.
Crystal said even the birds wait until their babies have wings. I'm dead. Well, too bad those two children didn't have wings. As I said to y'all the other night.
They have wings. No, those children do have wings. They do have wings at this time. I'm hoping they do have wings at this point, because at this point, if we can't find them, I don't want to find them 25 years from now, dead. You know what I mean? I'd rather praise them and celebrate their lives now instead of making stories up about who did it and this all the time At what point can we let these kids rest? And if they're not and they come back alive, then praise the Lord. But like, can we give these people, can we give Orrin and Orson West or any other kids or people in this life some type of celebration before we find them? And we notice that we can't until we get a solution, somebody arrested, somebody convicted, somebody in a jury trial like Barry Morphew, and things like that, until we get a conviction. We really, it's just a toss-up, man.
It's just sad. Like I said, all this can be prevented. And once you're in the game and realize it's not for you, to stop having children. If you're a guy and you realize you don't want to be a father, the first child comes along, somebody saying, hey, this is your kid, you go get tested, it's yours, you still feel like, hey, I don't want to do this, I'm not cut out, then don't keep having sex. Stop having sex. Use a condom. What is so hard about putting on that condom? And yes, I know men don't like it. They like the real deal. The women like the real deal. But guess what? A couple of minutes of satisfaction is versus what? 18 years of raising a kid. So you're sitting here all heated and, you're looking good. Oh, you smell good. And what's 30 minutes versus 18 years? And you're like, I don't want to be his daddy.
Well, here's the deal also. From birth to college. See, I'm a finance guy, and I owned a credit repair company, and I was a debt settlement company, and we worked for the consumers. Now, a lot of the times people break up, the number one breakup is finances typically. But we see these kids that they're bringing into this world that have no chance.
They don't.
They have no chance.
We talk about
they're not given that opportunity.
They never
to
had a
succeed.
Yes.
And that's what I think where it starts with. It starts with us. Starts with us. Yeah.
Call me. I got a link, you guys. Hit the link.
Yeah,
1 hour and 26 minutes in. Hit the link.
Now do you think we hold CPS at fault for this, or DPSS? Do we hold them at fault for a lot of this, where we also are looking and do it for not doing more? I mean, we see all these other people.
I have a problem with them if they kept putting those kids in their care, knowing they didn't have any other income. But I don't know the guidelines for California as far as what income you can and cannot have to be a foster parent. But if the guidelines are that you're supposed to have income, then yeah, they're at fault for placing those children with Jacqueline and Trezell.
But what I'm saying is, how would they? I mean, we've seen other channels and other people attack DPSS and this and that. How could they have fuddled that system to where they could make enough money to have that house, or be qualified enough to take these kids in and be able to raise them and have enough money to do that? Who does that qualification? Where's that person? Where's the statement of intake? What's the intake?
All of it's jacked up because these people had these kids. They're now missing. You didn't want to touch it, but I'm going to say something. Who knows the truth about the house, the money? But if we ought to believe all those people that had commentary about the house and getting the money, the person who sold them the house, the lady who lived there, things were seedy and shady day one. And like I told myself and told others, only a fool would go round and round with somebody that don't appear to have money to buy my damn house. I'm going on to the next buyer. Thank you.
Now, there are certain, like I talked to you earlier, like my uncle, well, let's put it this way. Say a family member is a real estate agent and a mortgage agent, agent as well. And they do the sale of your house. They get both sides of the sale. They get the points on both sides. Now they have the chance to turn around and be like, hey, I'm going to turn around and give you your, half your commissions back for choosing me to sell your house, or I'll give it all back to you because you're family, or we're friends, or this or that. That loan could have been on the precursor of them getting the money, after they buy the house. So, there's, because you have to have enough seasoned money in your bank account before you can actually make the purchase of a house. It's 45 days seasoned money to 60 days. And then you can get in. I mean, I believe the DRE gives it 45 to 60 days seasoned money right now. I have been out of finances for a bit, but you have to have it a certain amount of time before you can make a purchase of a house. Mm-hmm. And then they look for 4 times the amount of your income, depending on what the house amount is. So if you're buying a $200,000 house, you're going to need to be making enough times 4 times to make that payment.
Well, California's expensive states, such as New York, Florida. Those are the most expensive states in the union.
People talk bad about
those who don't know that.
People like to talk and down me because I like I have a place to live, but I also do the van living life, so I'm mobile and be able to cover stories, and I can live comfortably. It's a choice for this instance. So you can still be out reporting and doing this, but you don't have to have that home ground. And people look down on that. Jacqueline was living in a van for a while. We all know she was staying in a van. She couldn't go to Trezelle's house. They didn't want her there. She'd go to her mom's house and shower and have to leave. It's a common thing nowadays. In California, out here where I live, for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, before utilities, is about $1,800 a month. Just for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, $1,800. Maybe a studio for $1,650. And then you got utilities, $300 plus. So, to live in California, it's expensive. They moved to probably the least part of the expensive part of California.
That area is least expensive. I've done
California City was meant to be built on. If you look back to origins of that, California City was supposed to be built on, but it was too expensive to do the water and the piping and the underground stuff in the desert. When I was out there searching for Orrin and Orson West, I found all the rebarb and all the plots that were laid out in the desert to build on. But it was so expensive because to get the permits to be able to build on that part of the land, you bought the land for dirt cheap. You thought you were getting gold. You thought you were going to build your mansion in the sky, have your dirt bikes and your Humvees and this and that. And it turns out you can't even afford to build on it. The reason why that desert in Cal City is desert is because nobody can afford the permits. They were all, came in and got that free visit, that free cruise for coming in to buy a timeshare or some type of land, and they all got suckered. Somehow, at some point, they found out they couldn't build at all.
Right.
And now it's a tourist. It's a tourist track.
Take a break.
Yep.
You hear me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
California City, utopia turned ghost town. A developer dreamed of transforming California desert into futuristic dream city. Then came the lawsuits. This was uploaded 2 years ago, May 31st. Ghost towns dot the California landscape. Remnants of places that once were booms and busts of development that for some reason met its demise. One of the strangest is California City, a swath of desert 100 miles northeast of Los Angeles. Once intended to be the state's next great metropolis, now it's a skeleton of streets and cul-de-sacs carved into arid landscape, and a testament to the arrested ambition of Nat Mendelsohn and the dark side of real estate speculation. Mendelsohn, a Czech immigrant, a sociologist who studied the structure of towns and villages, and a Columbia University professor, was eager to get in on the post-war development boom. In 1958, he bought 82,000 acres of land, about 125 square miles in the Mojave Desert, and dreamed of transforming it into a thriving city composed of neighborhoods, medicine, commerce, industry, and academia. And it was meant to be a place where families could thrive. A 3-bedroom house purchased on spec started at $8,700, and Mendelsohn built amenities to sweeten the deal, like a golf course, 20-acre lake, swimming pool, and recreation fields. He also carved out a street grid and installed water and power infrastructure, readying the land for buildings that never came. If you tuned into the radio in Southern California in the 50s and 60s, you might have heard this jingle: buy a piece of the Golden State. You'll be sitting pretty when you come to California City. And if you open Reader's Digest or Look magazines, you would have spotted ads framing the city as a good and safe investment with great profit potential. The aggressive campaigning worked. Tens of thousands of lots had been sold through the 1960s, most sight unseen, but a few buildings were constructed. This caught the eye of FTC, which said that advertising was deceptive and ordered the city's developers to stop. In 1972, the developers were ordered to refund money to some investors if the investors wanted to pull out. In 1975, investors in California City filed a class action lawsuit against the developers, claiming they were defrauded since the developers did not disclose the risk about potentially losing money. Today, California City has a population just shy of 14,000. There are more houses than than in 1970s when the legal actions took place. There's a golf course, small airport, minor league baseball team, and a prison, which is the city's main source of employment. The Erie street grid remains. The plumbing infrastructure is still there too, which has become a problematic maintenance issue and one of the state's biggest water wasters. And
Right.
they are testaments to Mendelssohn's ambitions. He named his streets after prestigious colleges, Stanford, Rutgers, Yale, and Columbia. People steal these street signs as souvenirs. There's been renewed interest in California City's history. A few years ago, Atlas Obscura held an urbanism tour of the city, and artists have been exploring it too. Chang Kim, a Los Angeles-based photographer, became fascinated with California City's backstory and explored its present-day composition in the series Utopia Incomplete, which he began in 2015, and it is an ongoing. Among many cases of failed urbanization and speculative development, I believe nothing better represents the complete nonsense of the failure than this city, he writes in his artistic statement. We've seen how real estate developments, often speculative, affect our built environment and the way we live in the fast-paced society. We've also seen how fanatic land-based investments and its financial manipulations devastated the world in recent history. Using a drone, Kim captured the city's expansive grid and pockets of development and believes the city is worth re-examining in the context of current housing crisis. Housing prices are historically high in California. It came to me as a meaningful contrast that explains our herd behavior of seeking quick money with real estate, he says. California City is from a vastly different time than today, but in many ways speaks to an enduring and elusive ambition. The search for a perfect place. Taken today, the city's history as an idealized city and a speculative real estate investment scheme is also an allegory about the value of that perfect place. Is it about actually living there, or is it about accumulating wealth so you can create your own utopia elsewhere?
It's called a fraud from day one.
This is by archive.curbed. Need verification for that information. So it's interesting that you would talk about the water issue and plumbing that's mentioned in this said commentary. So they've got mad plumbing issues.
And a lot of the people, and that's why the building, and permits and things like that were kind of standoffs. But a lot of the employment also comes from like Edwards Air Force Base and people in the military like that as well, contracts. In that nature, because Edwards Air Force Base is right there as well. So you got a lot of people who work for that, or NASA, or whatnot.
Yes. And I brought the demographics for that. How many people, the main jobs and sources of income out of Cal City, if you need that information. Oh, Queen stayed up on her game.
Well, there's sources of income coming in are all the dirt bike riders that come in Thursday through, Saturday night, Sunday. And leave Sunday evening or whatnot. And that's where the local businesses get their business. A lot of the money is made from people who are coming out there to dirt bike and camp and shoot and do different things. So
it looks scary out there. The place looks scary to me, Doug.
Well, there's also a lot of mines out there. There's a lot of mines out there. And I was going to take my drone back into the mines. And when I saw the cops searching over there one day, I didn't go back over there because I didn't want to keep ruffling feathers out there. Yeah. But there's mines out there. And then there was this closed down resorts, abandoned resort where there's waterways and different kind of water in the back and things like that of that nature, way out in the back of Cal City. So, there's a good chance that if the boys are deceased and they're hidden, they could be in those mines. There's mines accessible through the desert in Cal City. So unless you're familiar with Cal City and growing up there, I mean, there's people with underground bunkers, I'm sure. When Y2K came out, people spent most of their money thinking that they were going to be the only ones alive if they had their underground bunkers, and then everybody will be dead and they'll be able to survive. So a lot of people spent their income or money on, building up different kind of avenues. And in the desert, you can do a lot of different things. And people do have, hidden basements or underground, If
you want to be there. If you want to be there. Many people live in the desert. It's desolate. Let's talk about the obvious. Why did they move out there? We have not touched on that. We're out 39 minutes.
I'm just going to have to say cost.
we're going to have to. So you don't think there's anything
outsize
that was in relation to the children? Any type of facetiousness with the children, deviance with the children? You don't think it's anything deviant? Why they moved out there?
If you do the comparatives in the housing prices in the market, and where you could have the bigger property for less money.
Yes, I know it's really out there.
So I think it had to do with getting away from what was going on with the inner families in Bakersfield, and moving far enough away where they could still, get to the family, get to Wanda and Philip, bring the kids over there, go to Jacqueline's house, still see the kids.
But the Queens got the demographics of how far each city is from where, and we have to count the fact of not having a spare car. Stay woke.
Well, if they have one car and one van, that means that they're always together, right?
Okay, but I'm saying I only knew of them having the van.
Yeah, but then now we've seen them in a different car as well. Didn't we? Somebody see them in a silver.
But we're gonna go back to then.
Yeah, but we don't know if they had it. We don't know what they had then besides what we saw. They might have had it over at Wanda West's house, parked underneath another.
Why would you have a spare car at your mama's house and your mama live an hour away? Stay woke.
Maybe you don't have a license. I don't really know, to be honest with you.
I'm speaking from common sense. I'm speaking from
good question. No, it's
children, a guy, a woman, kids. Worst case scenario, middle of nowhere. That's how I think.
I agree. No, I agree.
Okay. It's just not logic to me to live way out.
Maybe somewhere. It wasn't working. Maybe mechanical issues. They didn't have the money to fix it. They had all their money tied up since May, trying to get this house in September. Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know.
I can't give you that.
I speak from a logical standpoint, and that's just who the queen is. I don't see anybody wanting to move out there where this place is. The land circumference that I can see from a drone, all that, it's not feasible to me. But as I say, I'm not.
Let me tell you this. If I didn't have kids, or even if I had, I do have kids, but I'm so involved in their sports and their schooling that I couldn't be 2 hours away and be effective. But if I had the opportunity to move and stay in California, and that was the place I could go and afford to get a house and have enough room and things like that, I would do it.
Okay. And would you have a spare car, sir?
I would have probably a motorcycle or something if I was out in the desert, but I wouldn't have a spare car if I was alone. If I was a family, you always need to have a backup.
You would live out there with nothing around and didn't have a spare car?
No, it depends on what, if you're single and this and that, but their situation, if we're speaking of their situation.
But like I said, everybody lives differently,
everybody's going through it the last few years, Queen.
Are you riding the interstate a lot, going here, there, visiting people? That's what I'm saying. Because if you're a recluse and you stay right close to town, you don't got no reason to do nothing. You got a little money in the bank, then maybe one car is all you need.
Let me ask you a question. So you go out and you want to go out every day. You know how much it is to go to a fast food restaurant and feed 6 kids and 2 adults? Yeah, and you do that daily? How the hell are you going to pay a mortgage?
But you got people who do it.
You might as well collect your Pokemon cards from McDonald's and hope you strike it big. Because, if you're spending $60, $80 just to go out to eat for your family, you can't do that on a daily. You'd have to think that they'd stayed home. They got EBT. They had, enough to cover, for the kids and the household, which would be I would say $2,000 a month in food for that amount of household. Maybe $1,000 a month if everyone's just fed normally, and then they're saving and this and that. But a gallon of milk and a gallon of gas here in California is about the same. You're paying over $4.
Guess what? If it's that expensive out in California, hell, y'all should have a lot of cows grazing in y'all backyards. I'm just saying.
And what's weird is we always, we go back to 9/11 and we think about they were trying to take out different buildings like the White House and different places when they should have taken out California, because California, provides half the world their supplies in food and produce. And really it was a personal vendetta when they're going after the, the military bases in different parts of our country. They weren't going after what they could shut down the United States with, which would be taking out California.
Well,
which
those places are iconic. White House, Pentagon, the World Trade Centers. That was iconic to them.
Well, we have a relationship with the Pentagon out here in Ventura County. Very close relationship.
Look, Air Force said, "Dang, Doug, California." He said it. He tried to wipe out all of Hollywood, the studios, everything, all the money makers.
And I mean, to be honest with you, we have 3 drone helicopters out here that will drop water on fires. Okay, we bought 2 from the Pentagon, and the Pentagon gave us 1 for free. Mm-hmm. So we're in our state and here in California, in our city, we're one of the safest cities in the world until we had the borderline shooting a couple of years back, where we were borderline strong, and then right before that was the Las Vegas shooting. Okay, we had the mass shooting in Las Vegas, and it was at a country concert. And the country club out here that I dance at regularly, I'm a country bumpkin, if people didn't know. I like the line dance and I love country music, but I was there from 16 to 25, and I covered the story where there was a mass shooting. And, my brother's a sergeant out here, and one of the other sergeants was shot and killed during that mass shooting. And it's just crazy to think that there was 57 people that were in this country club out here in California that were actually at the mass shooting a month before in Las Vegas that went through the same thing. Mm-hmm. So we have all of this stuff going on, but we have no answers of why. What's the why? We have no whys in any of these cases. Why did we lose? Why are Orrin and Orson West gone? Why did Cash Gurnan get killed? What did he do? Why? We just look at all these cases and they're just why? I mean, if you didn't love her, get rid of her, Barry. Divorce her. Why kill her? Take the L out of love her. Don't say we're separating your head from your body. Just go. You know what I mean?
As a black man would say, it's cheaper to keep her.
Yeah, after 10 years in California, you might, yeah.
Hey,
I go to fill up at the gas station. I don't know whether to fill my car up or strangle myself with the gas cord because it's so expensive.
No more stealing gas.
I'll take 5 on 10 and 10 on 5 so I can get out the driveway, just so I can get back in the driveway to fill up again. That's how expensive it is out here.
Pay for gasoline. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Lord, man.
So every day somebody's child goes missing, and we know the odds that most of the children that go missing, it's a strong chance that it's the parent or custodian of the child. Do you think Jacqueline and Trezell West did something to those children?
See, when you get a missing person or a murder case, the first people you look at is the immediate family.
Of course, they work their way out, is what the detectives say. We work our way out.
Exactly. So you look at the immediate family, the bio family at the same time, relatives, friends, schoolmates. Working your way out, like you said. And again, even with the other kids talking that they were housing, nothing yet, no charges, nobody arrested, no leads. I mean, we had Arizona, and then we had like New Mexicali area. At some point, I'm starting to kick myself in the face. Like, these leads aren't leads. These sightings aren't sightings.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think they should have custody of their other children right now?
Their bio kids?
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other two.
As soon as they finish what the mandated program is for the state to give them back, I feel the state has put something in place that is a mandatory classes that would make them better parents. And if they do that and the extensive work they have to do to complete it, yeah, I believe they should get their kids back, and I believe that they should get back Orrin and Orson West if Orrin and Orson West do come home, especially if they had nothing to do with it. Especially if they had nothing. What if they're victims of circumstance, as I think they could be still? Mm-hmm. They could still be a victim of circumstance. Maybe they did stuff that we didn't think was right. Maybe neglectful for how they watch their own kids or how we think they should have watched their kids. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that. But they didn't kill them. I mean, they're not in handcuffs. They're not in jail.
We don't know what they did.
They've
We don't know what they
cooperated.
did. No thanks. I don't know what they did. I'm not professing that now.
They've cooperated. Everything the police are asking.
What they done. I am not in California. I don't know a cop, a detective, FBI agent. I don't know nothing about them too. And I don't make no claims to know nothing about what they did, didn't say. I'm going by shit that's obvious. No updated photos, all that. That's stuff
all suspect. It's all suspect.
Nobody's trying to tell you. Well, whatever. It shows me character. But it shows me character.
But silence speaks volumes. But also they say silence speaks volumes, Queen. And I think that they're taking their advice of their attorney now that they're attorneyed up. But I think they're keeping their silence. We haven't heard any statements from Wanda come out or Jamal or anybody else or any of these other.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Please be
Nothing.
quiet. Just say nothing.
What did I do?
I'm saying I'm glad they don't talk. I don't want them saying anything. Just don't say nothing. Sometimes my daddy used to tell me, sometimes it's best just listen. That group, I don't want them saying anything. Just
now the why. Why did they come out at that point and feel that it was necessary to make two statements and then go quiet again, go dark? What was the point of even coming out and making one statement?
I just don't like the way none of these people handled themselves. That's my opinion. I don't like the way Jacqueline Giselle handled themselves, not bringing updated photos, not talking to the news. You live in this.
But does that make them guilty?
I'm just, listen, this is my opinion, and I'm just saying to you, I'm going by what's obvious. And people who want their people found, they don't mind talking to the news because they want people to know, hey, I love my kid, my sister, my brother. I want them found.
Do you notice that we have more people advocating? We have more people advocating for these kids, and Miss Jennifer Nobles, who got those signs put up in Bakersfield, and other people who helped put out money to get these things done. We have a lot of people who, really do care. And when we see these people doing that, we're like, why isn't the family doing that?
And that's how we feel. And that's how we feel. And we can feel that
and it makes us think that, okay, then they're not doing this because they're guilty. But again, we can't say why they're not doing something or why they are doing something.
Right. But this is what I tell you, and I've said this in my videos, especially dealing with this mess out there in Texas. We are human. We are flawed. We judge people. It's what we do.
We're fallible. Yep.
Yes. So if you're not talking and you then just came to me to the news talking about your child missing, and then you don't got nothing else to damn say, yeah, I got a problem with you.
I'd probably be dead by now if these were my kids looking, because I would probably not be eating right. I would be going after everything and everybody that I could be to figure out answers. And I would probably either be locked up or dead by now if these were my kids.
You would
be 6 months out. I would be not only insane, I wouldn't be able to hold it together. My world is gone. Everything that I worked for in my life to become a father and give these kids a chance, I failed. I would be.
You're not worried about nobody else and what they think.
I would not worry about the law. Number one, especially the law. I would do whatever the fuck I felt I needed to do to get my kids back, to make somebody talk, to get answers. I don't care if I have to go to jail to find out answers after the fact, because I would have done what I needed to do to that point to get some type of
my point. And that's why many of us feel like they are guilty in doing something, because most people want to rally for their children to be sorry. Thanks. Where'd you go? Lord, I got my screens are just acting.
I'm right here.
Okay, and I'm trying to get over here I'm having problems getting over here to the board. Hold on, Crystal.
We love Crystal.
Yeah, if I can.
Thank you, mods, and everybody in the chat. Also, thank you to the mods. You got some great mods.
Acting up. Oh Lord Jesus, I don't believe this. Wait a minute.
The prayers come out.
I think this computer came from Russia. I'll tell my brother to take it back. Take it back. Crystal Moore, how are you doing?
I'm good. Hey, Doug and chat,
Miss Crystal.
everybody.
You wait
Hello,
almost
Miss
2
Crystal.
hours to join the Queen's Live, really?
Hey, I've had a few patients.
Okay. Where are the children? What happened to the children? Hit it.
I think that the kids are deceased. They're buried somewhere. Where, I don't know. I just find it odd how you know how like Doug was saying and you were saying, they all came out in the beginning. Somewhat. They didn't come out like they should have came out.
Well, it came out day one. Let's clarify. Day one.
Yeah.
To initially report the children missing.
Yeah, and now nothing's being said. I find that odd. That's not, to me, it's not normal behavior.
I know, it's not.
It's not normal. So I think that I truly feel that those kids I feel like they were gone before.
Why did the news give up on them? Why did the news also give up on them? Everybody's given up on these kids.
How do you have proof that the news gave up on them, Doug?
They haven't said anything.
Because we haven't seen anything from them.
Well, why am I going to talk about something that ain't nothing for me to talk about? I tell y'all.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel it's cold and I think it's going under, because they were getting some information. We heard from Brian Wang. We got that statement that people took, one way and took the other way, and then he dissipated. And then he disintegrated. He dissipated like these kids did. Now I'm thinking the reason why we don't have answers, because there are no answers.
Okay.
Sorry, Crystal.
Yeah, there's no updates. I just feel that it's been way too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I just truly feel that they're deceased somewhere.
Well, who got them gone? Who got them to the demise? If you believe that they are buried or dead.
To be honest, I'm gonna stick with what I said from day one. I think that it's Trezell.
Why is that?
Because of his attitude.
Okay.
Because
who's the ringleader?
I think that I don't know what happened that day, but I think that it's Trezell, and I believe that Jacqueline knows what happened.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. There. I mean,
you feel the reason why they couldn't stay together, and that the mom, would only let Jacqueline over to shower, and she couldn't go to Trezell's house, so she had to live in a van. Do you think that's over because
is that true?
One knows something and one doesn't know? And what
is that true?
Well, I mean, I would assume that if two people are going to keep a secret, that you would keep these people together. You'd want to stay together. And,
yes, I agree with that. I agree. But I'm asking you: do you have concrete proof that she was not staying in the house with Trezell and his parents?
Yeah, the concrete proof was that the other reporters that got the actual information was told that she couldn't stay there, and I believe that was broadcasted as well. That she wasn't allowed to go into the West property.
I know, but why? I'm saying, do you think you know why or heard why?
No, and I would assume maybe there was they were going through some problems, and maybe the reason why they moved to Cal City was maybe start a new life.
But they the children come missing, huh?
I'm sorry, what?
They couldn't get a new life started once the children went missing.
No, that's why I think the children were there when they moved to Cal City, because there's no other reason to move. There's no other reason to move besides save that money for an attorney or something else.
Krista, what you think about what Unknown Thankson just said? Because my head's starting to hurt.
Well, I think I'm curious. Okay, because the dogs, when the dogs went there, they didn't smell the kids' scent or whatever outside the house. So if they moved there in September, I would think that the dogs would pick up scent inside, outside, all over the place. If those kids were there September when they supposedly moved there.
Okay.
But they also took stuff out of the house.
December.
I'm sorry?
You don't think they also took?
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Queen.
Let's say the kids are gone. So
The kids,
you
yeah.
still think they scent should be around 3 months later? Is that what you're saying? Or no?
I do.
Okay.
If those kids were there, since September, I feel that's their scent would still be around, but the dogs didn't pick up any scent, only on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Well, did they make it there?
Well, they said the kids weren't allowed to play outside. So at that point, why would there be a scent outside in the backyard if they're only going into the house and out the front door or out the garage door?
You ain't getting ready to do that, Doug. You forgot that's what you said they was at. They was outside playing. You forgot. You slipping.
No, what I'm saying is that how would the dog lose a scent? I mean, if the dog would only catch the scent coming out the doors, that they would go in and out to the car, or maybe I only heard of the dogs not picking up the scent in the backyard. I didn't hear about any of them not picking up a scent in the front driveway or the front yard area. I'm sorry.
So I don't know. Yeah, the only thing that I heard as well is that they didn't pick the scent up outside, but that they picked it up inside. But nobody said anything about the front. Right. So that's a little.
I would assume outside will be outside, because if I'm thinking my children outside playing, the cops will think the same. Maybe they ran around the front, so I'm gonna search the front. I'm gonna let the dog.
Right, but the cops only said that they didn't pick up a scent in the backyard. That's all they said, right?
Well,
they didn't give us all of the story. They gave us enough of the story.
You know damn well if them dogs were there, they would tell you too. I let them go in the front, and they didn't hit nothing there either.
Yeah, because they only said
they don't just let the dogs go around the back, and then that's it. They're gonna let them go inside, outside, to the side, garage, the front door, the mailbox, to the side, little ways, to the end of the stop sign. Why not? You in the vicinity?
Yeah, they're I don't know. They're just there.
You would have to say that there was a scent somewhere outside, because the boys didn't just disappear from the inside of the house.
Let me ask you this, Crystal. Do you believe the children went to Cal City with this family?
I don't.
So what happened? They got rid of them in Bakersfield, California?
And that's what I believe. And then
how long ago?
Oh, before they moved. Before September, for sure.
So why move an hour away?
Remember, he said a year, that Bakersfield chief. So are we talking about a year? What's your speculation on that? You know, I'm a drill sergeant. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. Well, if I mean, that's a little odd too for him to be asking people if you've seen the kids within the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's
how did you take?
That's not normal.
How did you take that?
That's not normal, and I take it as if the kids were gone before that year. That's why he's asking.
Yeah.
So
because otherwise he would have said, "Oh, you guys have seen these kids within the last 2 months." Yeah. But he said a year.
Yeah, a whole year means I know somebody ain't had them children nowhere near Cal City, and they probably done went digging up some stuff like medical records, visits.
And then another thing is, how do we know that whatever they gave the dogs to smell?
That's what Tiffany said too. How do we know they gave them the children's clothes?
Yeah, how do we know that was actually
their stuff? Yes.
Yeah, and not their other kids.
Yeah, because you got all those kids. You got all those kids. So how do you know what toothbrush, comb? But we also
but no DNA came back to that. No DNA came back to the stuff that they took, is what I was told.
Yeah, but see, Doug, guess what? We ain't been told that. So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, we ain't been told that. So we just still here pondering. What did they take out? What did they take?
We'd have to assume by now that they didn't find anything, because there's still nothing.
Yeah.
Still nothing.
Wow.
So we have to assume it's true.
Yes. Not Al, what you got to say?
Hey, everybody on the panel. Can you hear me?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Hey, sis. Hey, Mr. Doug. How you doing? I just came up here. I've been busy in the chat. That's why I didn't come earlier.
I know. You going to come up here with your boxing gloves on too?
Yeah. Let me go on and say this. First of all guilty people are not in jail. So the fact that they not arrested don't make me think they less guilty. And every adult attached to these kids.
That's true. I understand that.
Every adult attached to these kids need to be charged because they failed them.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get gone with nobody else but the adopted people that were in charge of them. So when people say they love their kids, they love their kids, they bought clothes for their kids, they taught them ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and took them to McDonald's. It's a lot of kids laying on a cold slab because people loved them. There's a lot of kids in the cemetery because the people that's responsible for them love them. So I don't care.
Elaborate on that. Are you being cynical, or are you saying they just had an accident but they love their kids? Elaborate what you're saying.
Nah, they ain't had no accident. They got rid of their kids. They got them.
But explain that, because you're leaving that open, or people may not understand what you're saying.
For the tragedies that we hear about, like this case in particular, when I hear they love their kids, they took them in, they did this. If they loved them so much, they wouldn't be missing. Kids just don't go missing. Kids just don't end up hurt or dead with people they loved them. Okay. It's no accident. This was planned. They got rid of them kids long before we even knew about them. I don't think they made it to the house.
What's the motive?
They got tired of them. They were overwhelmed.
Why not give them back?
Yeah, you went in and adopted them. You knew it was going to be work. You had your own 2 kids. You adopted them. You adopted 2 more. You knew that when you went in. Nobody threw them at you, handed them to you. That was a conscious choice to adopt all them damn children. Now, not that.
And before you do the adoption, it's probably like a circumcision. It lets you know that it's probably not reversible.
Okay.
You know, it's probably not a reversible thing. You know, it's 50%, but you have that option. You have that option.
What?
That was a bad analogy.
Yeah, that was a real bad analogy.
I'll go with what is bad analogy for 5,000, Alec. Ding, 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 daily double. I apologize. I probably could have used something better, but
dang.
Yeah, Lord. They have that option.
They have the option.
They have the option. They chose not to take the option. They chose to get rid of them.
Well, no, I'm saying about the option to adopt them or give them back, and they kept them and they adopt them as their own.
But there's shame in giving back a child you've adopted or adopted for a foster. Foster, you can hand them back.
But giving them back wasn't even a choice if they hurt them.
Can we agree to disagree, or do we agree that they love those kids at some point? They had to have loved those kids at some point to adopt them.
I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that.
So you think it was strictly for money? So you're thinking it's a monetary thing?
No job. You ain't got no job on file, period, that we can even just come up and say, oh, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, you was doing this. You was working at Hobby Lobby, McDonald's, something. Ain't nothing that came up but that boy working for that security company, and that's way, way back in the closet.
Yeah, no. There was a lot of false statements about people's backgrounds, and a lot of these background checks. A lot of the house marking checks that we were trying to find the addresses, a lot of them are false. We found a lot of false people.
I don't give a damn what the damn verified search say. When the news go looking for you to talk to you about stuff, eventually they are going to verify where the hell you work. If they
let me ask you a question.
They can't tell them you ain't work nowhere.
If you were to give the kids back, what kind of shame are you? Do people ask you why you gave the kids back, or don't know that you're not fostering them? Would people on the outside actually know what happened besides DPSS if they were like, hey, it's not working out, we'd like to give them back to be adopted, or we'll hold them until that they're able to be adopted? There had to have been another option besides just get rid of the kids and kill them.
Well, people get rid of their kids every day. We talk about this every day on these channels. I keep telling you, you don't need a reason to kill your kid. There's 50,000 ways of doing stuff. How I feel about a child is not how you're going to feel about a kid. These folks are diabolical to me. They're like all these people we see.
How could anybody lay their hand on a child besides a hug? Besides a hug or a kiss?
Don't you do this Brady Bunch stuff for me.
No, but how could anybody, I'm having trouble putting myself in, I guess. I'm really good at putting myself in positions where I can think like a killer, think like this, but I can't put myself in Trezell or Jacqueline's head.
If it ain't in you, how you gonna think like one? Come on,
I can't think like that with Trezell or Jacqueline. You can kind of depict, looking back at different serial killers and and Manson and different kind of cults and different kind of theories and this and that, where you can kind of see, you know, if this
You don't
person's
want the queen to
capable
get
of doing
caught.
something.
I've been
I don't see
quiet.
them capable of killing
I've been
kids. I
doing
just
real
don't.
good. I've been doing real good. No things don't make me pull off my brassiere. Don't start.
I'm just
How
saying that
about
I
Brazil?
But what if
I don't
so
know you.
sad.
I don't know you. You don't know him. You don't know. You didn't know You didn't know Manson. You didn't know Gacy. You didn't know Bundy. You didn't know nobody. Because everybody puts on a facade. It's called a sociopath. I can smile and laugh at you. I can help the little lady across the street. But in the nighttime, I can stand outside of people's windows and peep in and peer and say, ooh, I like a she. I want a she. I'm going to get she. I'm going to break in her house and I'm going to rape her. Bind
But
her.
the same that we could say about the Jacqueline and Giselle, we could say about bio family members. Can't we? Their anger towards them having the kids and them not having them. Maybe they got to them first before Jacqueline and Giselle got annoyed with having them. Maybe there's two different theories. You know, maybe they wanted them back and they lost them legitly and they couldn't get them back and that was their only way to take them. There's still two options. We still don't have anybody in cuffs on neither side of the family.
And maybe Santa Claus black. What is it?
Well, Jesus is, isn't he? I don't know. Jesus, I think, is a woman also. I don't know.
Santa Claus
I
is
don't know. Take the L out of lover because it's over. I have no clue.
I don't know what color Santa Claus. I didn't give a damn what color he was. I just wanted my damn presents. And thank you, Santa Claus.
And then
Lord.
they were on drugs, correct?
Who?
Trizelle and Jack.
I can't say, I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know I don't have a toxicology of what they were on during this time. I really don't know.
Because I'm thinking, so.
And I'm not here to be difficult. I'm just here to you got to keep the options open, and all of us thinking together only helps the situation. It's not to be, hey, I'm right, you're wrong. It's maybe we're all right or wrong in certain aspects, and we can put that together, and that's what's important here.
One thing I do know about them children, they ain't here.
No,
right?
It's a magic trick, hon. I'm telling you, this is the bigger than David Copperfield or Chris Angel could have pulled.
Well, maybe they need to call David. Maybe somebody need to get on the main line and call David and see if he knows something about them children.
Well, I have Brian Wang's number, Queen, and if you'd like, you and I can try to do a three-way call.
Bang, don't want to talk to Anya.
Well, I mean, if we need to reach out to people who maybe are working this case or have, maybe we could try to get some answers. But I mean, that would be my only point of contact with anybody at this point that I've been working with, because
where that other gal at?
It's a cold case.
Where that other Indian gal at, Perla?
Perla actually, I think, got fired from KGET, and
What happened?
She was wearing the wrong color dresses. That turquoise one she wore one time just did not work.
What happened? Look, you know,
it did not work for her.
What happened?
It did not do any justice for Miss Perla.
What happened to she?
She got smurfed. She got smurfed. She went to work for a bigger company, unemployment. She
you gonna get shot.
I know. I'm gonna throw myself out. Don't worry. I'll just talk myself.
You gonna ever try to get shot out there? It's a long way to California, boo boo. There's a lot of layovers from here.
You know what I mean? You got to go for the better job and better benefits.
Be quiet.
That's why when people say, "Hey, who are you gonna?" You know, I like friends with benefits as long as they have medical and dental. I'm in.
I'm dead. Now that, what was you gonna finish saying?
Oh yeah, well that was my point on that was what I ran about. You know, the boys. You know, I do think unfortunately they are gone. They've been gone a long time.
So you don't believe they made it to Kansas City, not Al?
No.
How long do you think they've been gone, not Al?
I think they've been gone when the detective came out and asked, have anybody seen them within a year? I think they probably been gone
when they transferred it over to Bakersfield.
Yeah, at least over a year and a half, possibly.
Yeah, because the last pictures that we see is what, 2019?
The last, you mean the only? Shut your mouth.
Yeah, so
Yeah, the only pictures
Make
they
sure you
seen,
clarify that. Not last, the only.
the
yeah.
only pictures that they showed were those old pictures, and then when that other stringer had bet the mama got
You know
on
what I did?
Good Morning America.
I'm told they have newer pictures. They just didn't release them. The cops have
Good.
newer pictures.
Good.
I don't
Good. Please stop. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, no. This is what I'm saying. That why wouldn't we release them so we can look for who we're looking for?
Why? You
If
mean,
that-
Yeah,
why would
because
they?
No,
Why
that's
would
what I'm
they
saying.
release
Is they? I heard they had newer pictures. So if they don't
them? Why
have
would
those,
I release them? My babies.
who are we looking for on billboards if those aren't actually the kids we're looking for?
right.
You know what I'm saying? At some
Yeah.
point,
Yeah, they should have.
That's one stinking ass picture. You see people standing in front of news every day. They showing you pictures of them in school, at the job, sitting on the front porch, the backyard. They want to give you different
in the
angles.
back seat of their goddamn car. Excuse my language. It's in
Yeah.
their car. They got pictures of them having ketchup on their cheek, a Slurpee on their shirt.
That's my point.
In the back seat of their car, convenience. There's more
One
pictures.
dusty picture that we all found from Jamal Watkins' Facebook page, and I find that very suspect. That you did not upload us nothing else to show us your children doing something the hell else.
Now I have the actual original picture from Jamal Watkins' page before he took it down and shut that part down. Now that picture that was released was also photoshopped. So those kids, and I have the original picture, and I'll send it to you. I'll text it to you, Queen.
Wait,
if you want to compare it to the other pictures, you can see where the lips have damage, and there's damage around. You know, where we're all.
What you talking about? What you saying?
About pictures of the kid, like when Jamal released it in 2019, the pictures of the kids in his living room with the toys. That's been out on social media.
He was visiting them. He was visiting California. Those pictures from 2019. That was on his visit over here.
It could be from California. It could have been from his. I don't have whose residence it was from or where they were at, but I have the actual picture.
They was at Pookie's house in 2019. How about that?
Well, the picture on his Facebook, let's just put it this way, is different than the ones that came out that were the exact same picture that were touched up a bit, where you see more damage on the face of the kids. It looks like the kid may have a swollen lip.
So that's what you're talking about. The little scratches everybody started hollering about.
Yeah, there's actually that photo. That's a Photoshop picture because I have the original picture and it doesn't look anything like that.
So then if that's the case, if those kids had damage, if they had marks on their face, where'd they get the marks from? Were they being child abused?
They're 4 years old. I mean, they're 4 and 3. When I was 4 and 3, I played around on my toy chest. I played around. I fell. When I was 3, I have a big scar right here from when I fell on my toy box. Kids do get scars. I'm not going to say how they played. I don't know how they played.
Yes,
but I saw a picture on Jamal's that I have the original from what I saw that was released. And you could tell it's touched up to where that somebody could say these kids are being more abused than they are. And I'm not saying that they weren't or they were. I'm just saying that the pictures don't match up completely.
Not from the loving parents. Not from the loving parents.
Queen is dead.
The loving parents? No. My point is
I don't think that it was a slapping.
Night Owl, don't get like Mayweather now.
My point exactly what I said, but they love it.
I don't want Mayweather. Wait a minute. Mayweather came out last night. I was like, oh, Jesus, she getting crunk.
Crystal was a Mayweather last night, huh?
Look like this. T.I. ain't up here. Don't start no mess. Look, you hear me? T.I. ain't up here.
Yeah.
That's my next live.
Night Owl, do you think they're alive or deceased, Night Owl?
Deceased.
Okay. So 3 of us think they're deceased. No things you act like you was thinking they're deceased, or they've changed their mind since 2 hours ago.
No. My hope is that they're alive, but I believe they're deceased at this point.
Okay. Yeah, my hope is alive. My hope is that they're alive, but 99% of me says they're not.
I just want to know what's.
Right.
I don't
6 months,
like
you guys.
asking the motive, but I do that just because this is what I do. But what do you all think the motive is? Some of you said what Crystal said, just tired of them. Not out. What do you say?
They were overwhelmed and tired of them.
And
I think that something happened and it was an accident. Okay. Well, you can't really say an accident, but I'm gonna say accident.
Really, you
And-
were on that, Crystal? Really, you?
And he
Girl,
killed
not
them
her.
because of his
Yeah,
attitude.
yeah, right. Mayweather said it was an accident. I'm stunned.
Because of
I
his
mean,
attitude.
At this point, I don't have a comment if there what the motive was, because I can't see a motive,
Why
Yeah.
can't you?
because I just don't see a motive on either side at this point.
I beg your pardon.
I really don't. I mean, I can see how the Bio family would want what was theirs originally, and if they couldn't have it, they would take it how they wanted to. And I could see how Trezell and Jackman could have got sick of the boys and didn't want to have one, or had, one overdosed or ate something he shouldn't have, or they gave medicine or something happened where they killed one and had to kill the other.
Some NyQuil and some Kool-Aid. They can go to sleep.
Yeah,
They were
at this point, I can't see a motive, because those boys, when I look at them, when I look at those
Somebody
boys,
was rambunctious, so I gave him some NyQuil.
when I look at Orrin and Orson West, or Classic and Sincere, or Sincere and Classic, however you want to say it, with the origins, I see two beautiful boys that I couldn't wrap my hands around anybody wanting to hurt.
Well, you know what, Doug? Sometimes I wonder
at this point,
this commentary about these kids, how you can't believe that when we have dead children showing up dead by their parents all the time. That's what baffles me about you when you say that.
Every day.
It seems
Every
like
day.
it.
Why you
It
can't
seems
think these little dust bunnies couldn't kill the kids? Well, every time we turn around, somebody done just killed the kid.
Queen, you want to know how I really when I wake up, I want to hear that Orrin and Orson had been found. And
Okay.
I don't know. And at this point, whether they're alive or dead, I want them found. And
Okay.
I want them to have the proper whatever they need if they're alive, and the proper whatever they need for burial and this and that. At this point, I'm hoping that I hear something. I don't care who did it at this point. I want those boys to be rested down first and have justice, and we'll figure out the rest of it, because once they're found, we'll have the answers we need, whether they're alive or dead.
Okay.
We'll have the answers, or at least most of them. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Madal, anything else?
No, that's all I have for you.
Okay. Crystal?
If they were alive,
Oh my God.
wouldn't people?
Say
Wouldn't we have found them by now, or no?
That part.
All of
It
these.
takes a lot. It takes a lot to hide people, children. Somebody got to sit.
Oh
with
yeah,
somebody
definitely.
at night. That's what I keep trying to tell folks about hiding folks. If you're gonna hide them, that means you're gonna put them in a room and keep them locked in there. You got to make provision for them to use the restroom. If not, that means you're gonna let them use the restroom in there. How's that gonna work? Not saying people ain't done it, but just saying.
Yeah.
It's a job in itself, concealing a human live body.
And then, I mean, so they're not even thinking about their starting school or nothing like that.
Hell no.
So they're just gonna keep them locked up.
That's why I said.
Right.
It's
What
more
kind of life is that?
than people think. Trying to keep a person alive in a house, cellar, shed, it's work, because you have got to be around at some point to feed them, the restroom breaks, all of that. And if you starve them, hell, they're gonna die. So then now you got to worry about burning them. You get where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't saying that people ain't done it, because we know people have held people captive for years.
Yeah. It can
But
be
at
done,
some
but
point
it's
they break the reins, though. But at some point they break the reins with them.
Yeah.
So let's say this. Let's say we find out that the adopted parents, Jacqueline and Trezell, didn't have anything to do with this, and we find out the Bio family do.
That's all you've been leaning on any damn way. I don't know. Thanks, you ain't
And
sick.
then I'm gonna ask the question vice versa. What do we do at that point? What do we do at that point for all the things that we may feel or said that our feelings or our opinions led to that we were wrong on. What do we do at that point? And I'm not defending or trying to be like a victim analysis or a victim helper or any kind of advocate. But what I'm saying is that what do we do the next step once we find out we were wrong, or if we were right? How do we correct the people who were wrong if we were wrong for these people that
we don't have to correct nobody because we don't stand account for other people, because in the end it was our opinion, just an opinion.
Right. We also do a lot of thinking. We bring a lot of people's lives into this.
Yeah.
Will they ever have a normal life?
Right. You made a mistake.
Okay. So is it normal? Is this at all normal? That's the top question. Is this at all
That's how
normal?
I feel. See, I think from a logical standpoint, rather
it's not. This isn't normal. This is not normal. I mean,
I'm standing on what I said, and they should still be charged with endangerment and neglect. Period. Point blank.
No, I agree. I agree with that statement. I agree that there should be other charges, but I'm talking about for the disappearance. For our maybe they didn't, like I said, weren't watching them the proper way when they were outside and they were taken. If they were taken on the 21st, if they weren't, then we could suspect something else happened, and then we could point the finger at Trezell and Jacqueline. But if the timeline is suiting and they didn't do anything besides being neglectful, yes, I agree. Some kind of charges should be filed, but I think that they're having to pay for classes and they're having to go through classes to actually get their kids back. So they are facing some kind of punishment already for this. So
I'm not bothered by that. I'm not bothered by that because one thing you ain't realized, you got to scratch all that and go back from the beginning. In the end, the fact that the dogs didn't smell nothing outside that house leads me to believe you are culpable for getting those children missing, and you've made up a story about the children being there. So all this doesn't really mean anything. You understand?
Now the story again, Queen, it comes back. They say that the story that they're talking about and the smell to the backyard, they're again not talking about through the garage and to the driveway and to the car area and to the front rocks and to the mailbox. They said the dogs didn't pick up a scent out the back door, meaning they didn't pick up a scent going out the back to the gate where they said the kids disappeared from.
Okay. Yeah.
They're still not saying that the kids didn't have a scent out. That's where it's a misinterpretation and us misinterpreting something where it's a backyard and still outside. But they never stated that the kids weren't in front of the wooden gates or outside the back door.
They ain't got to tell you that. It's common sense. That damn dog then went and sniffed from the damn stop sign to the gate, to the front of the gate, the front of the house, the side of the house, 8, 5, 6 doors down. You know damn well that dog went a mighty long damn way.
There's a good chance that they didn't go missing then on those days then, because that smell could have went away or dissipated over a certain amount of time with a rain or certain weather.
What's your forensic say?
Well, maybe a week even. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so I can't tell you that. But depending on how the weather is, how hot it is, how cold it is, if it rains, if it snows, if it this, if it that, it changes the sense of what would be outside in a certain area. But it wouldn't change what's inside of your house. You would still have the sense of the kids inside the house. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just stating that there's other options. I mean, I didn't hear in them anything.
You're very versatile. You are very versatile in your assumption of these folks and these scenarios. But I go on stats and what's usually the hype and the norm. Man,
I'm talking about dogs right now. I'm not even talking about guilty or not guilty. I'm talking about dogs.
But the dogs. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying if the dogs picked up the scent in the garage and out the back door and into the front yard area where the driveway is, we weren't told that. All we were told is the dogs didn't pick up the scent outside in the backyard where the kids were supposedly.
But you know why they said that, because that's why he said that's where they were.
Yeah. So therefore, if they said that the dogs didn't pick the scent up on the outside, and it wasn't like, how many days was it when the police got there? Well, they got there the first day, but then they brought the dogs out, right? So it wasn't too much. If they were to be, if they went missing on the 21st, like they said, there was enough time to where those dogs would have smelled those kids' scent going outside.
So here's what we'd have to believe. We'd have to believe that if the kids were going to leave out the back door in the backyard, that someone picked them up before the concrete slab, where they picked them up inside the house, whether they were standing outside the house when they picked them up inside the house. They must have picked up the kids out where the carpet line ends or wherever the inside of the house ends, because there's no scent outside the house, which means they didn't walk or step on the ground. The air is not going to hold your scent. You'd have to step physically on that area or that.
Right.
Which would lead me to believe they weren't, actively playing in that backyard either as kids.
Right. Like he said they were.
Right.
So there has to be some type of automatically that's a red flag.
There's a missing step of where the kid lifted off the ground.
Yeah.
And maybe if they were taking, and this is the assumption, and this is us going off the assumptions that someone was hiding in that cubby, or somebody came in when Trezell was throwing wood and went around the front of the house, that they came in that side gate and they must have grabbed the kids out of the house, because if she's in the bedroom wrapping presents, let's assume that story's true.
But no footprint.
Let's assume that's true.
Tracks, no nothing.
No, footprints could have been anything. I mean, those footprints could have been swept over, especially if if Trezell's actively walking in and out throwing wood. So he could step on other prints. People use the same tracks.
No reason to step on prints from
a lot of people use the same tracks, Queen. A lot of people will walk in the same tracks that they see to mimic. If they're doing something, they're going to follow a track and step on other steps, because it's going to confuse, number one, what the shoe print looks like, and it could confuse a scent. Who knows? But if I were going to do something, I would follow the same tracks that Trezell was walking out in the back, going to grab wood out the gate, to go in and walk through to grab his kids out the house.
I'm trying to steal a damn kid. I'm stealing two, not one. I ain't got time to be trying to step over nobody's damn prints. I'm trying to get them children out of there. And that's a nice little walk from that gate to the
maybe it was a well thought out plan of where they were going to hide.
But
who knows?
Okay. So all right. So Doug, let's say that they did. Let's say that they did follow back in Trezell's tracks outside, right?
Right.
What about the rest of the tracks to the street? You get it? He didn't walk to the street.
Again, there's tire tracks and there's ATV tracks through that little track area. Now, an ATV could have been parked right there, or even down around in the back of where that cubby is, where you could fit 5 people. And again, he would probably have heard it. This is just speculation or assumption on how this could have happened, but I think he could have heard it. But there could have been a way to traverse the kids out of there, or through the back gate, through that junk house where the gate was broken and it's only 4 feet tall. Toss those 2 kids right over there, and those tracks really you can't really see them because there's weed and dirt around the perimeter of the fences. It's not clear out dirt like you see in front of the gate where you walk into the Trezell and Jacqueline's house. There's weeds and stuff around the perimeter. It's not well groomed. So people could walk the perimeter and still not probably have tracks. And that's just me assuming this is what they were, if they were taken that way, and why the dogs wouldn't have scented on anything else. Tracks, when they see bigger feet, again, they're going to be, they see bigger feet, and then they see, two footprints on each other. They're not going to be able to match any shoes that Trezell has or any shoe a killer has, because there's not one standard print. So, there's different, options that could have happened. And again, I'm not a professional. I don't know. That's just the way my mind works, and how I think that if that was pulled off that way and they didn't have anything to do with it, and the kids were abducted and there was no scent outside through the backyard, that they would have had to have been picked up at the concrete slab out of the house. Even if walking on the concrete slab, I don't know how much scent that would leave, as opposed to stepping and leaving a footprint in the dirt. But again, I'm not a professional.
What about the video, the camera that they had on the side of the house?
Of Mike's house? Yes, the one they had on the side of Mike's house was working. It was pointed directly at their gate.
No, I'm talking about Trezell's and Jacqueline's. That camera.
They didn't have an outside. They didn't have an outside camera.
They had one facing the back window when people started going back there looking.
Yeah, because you could see the flashing blue light.
There was nothing in the front side, or they did have a motion light on the side right gate. If you were to pull into the driveway and walked to the right side where the actual side gate is, where Trezell was throwing wood or walked out of. They had a motion light there that wasn't activated and was activated after the fact, after the vandalisms and things like that. So they had fixed the timing and put a new bulb in there or whatnot.
So I'm talking about the camera that was in the window on the side of the house.
Okay, that camera I haven't seen any footage for, and I believe that it might have just been a camera just to scare people. I don't know if it was an active camera, but I didn't see any footage from the one from Trezell's house.
When it was put there, maybe it was just put there after the fact.
Yeah, as a facade or like something that'll show a blinking light, internet camera that you could plug in, and it'll show that it's on, but it's not recording to deter people from doing something. That's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I also would think that if they have security cameras, if it was a real security camera, you would also have it set up to where when you open a back door or a door, it beeps. Or if someone comes in and out, it beeps. That's typically something they do on a lot of the new alarms. It's a basic feature. It costs nothing to do. It's just a motion sensor. So a lot of the doors would have that. So I don't know if they had that or if they even had an internal alarm system on the house, like an ADT or some type of alarm system. I don't know. But if they did have a camera, a lot of times if people have cameras, there's cameras for a reason. You know, and there's very few people in that neighborhood who have cameras. And if you see who has cameras, it's typically the people who have the ATVs in the back and they have their toy haulers and they're, you know, an established house or an established person who's a news media source. We noticed that, you know, A.V. Springer lived down Melville, 3 houses down, 2 houses from where I interviewed the older people in Cal City on Melville, and he's got camera. And then Jesse had the Ring camera, but there's also a house down the street that has cameras as well down Aspen, which would see somebody leaving or coming, which we didn't get any of that either. So we either have to think that they have more footage.
I'm going back to the chat, Reed. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sweet One says dogs make mistakes. Intruder was hiding in the house.
True. Dogs do make mistakes. They're fallible, just like a human is fallible, especially police dogs with false positives. And yeah, I agree.
What you think about that, Crystal Moore?
But
that the intruder was hiding in the house all that time. That's a good one.
Yeah, Trezell and Jacqueline. I mean,
man, y'all killing me right now.
You know what's crazy though? We don't talk about dogs picking up scents at Philip and Wanda's house, or we don't hear about dogs picking up scents at Jacqueline's parents' house. We don't hear about any other searching that's going on with dogs looking for where those kids are at. We hear search warrants and things like that, but we don't see dogs, and we definitely haven't seen any more digging. We never saw any remote digging or any kind of underground radar or LiDAR or however they used it, ground penetration devices at Wanda's house. We know they searched it, but we didn't see any ground penetration done there.
So
we saw it.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you think that statement that Wanda made was normal?
The first one or the second one?
The one where she says, "They at your house." You think that's
so we're
normal?
not talking about the statement.
That's a rude heifer. You hear me? That's what
we're talking about. The one where they drove by and they yelled out the window.
She said, "Where's the boy?" She said, "They at your house." You think that's normal?
Yeah,
that's
you know what I mean. You know, it's some people, and I can't say how Wanda is, and I can't say how you are, or even Queen. Yeah. But like people react and deal with things differently when they're sad, when they're scared, when they're nervous, when they're happy, when they're motivated, when they're frustrated. You get all the different aspects of how people act. Now you can only be yelled at so many times on the street with the name Chalk, and when your husband's walking with, you know, Josiah, and it's not even Trezell, and you're getting yelled at and ridiculed, and things are happening. At some point, people have breaking points. Now, I'm not going to say what she said was right or justified in any way, or the proper way to handle something. But the frustration with the statement and how the vulgarity came out behind it, it seems to me it was a frustrated, angry, I want to know just as much as you do. And if you're
you're accusing me, I'm accusing you, type of mentality. And again, it's and it was bold, like Queen says, it was a very bold statement. But people do things to make a statement. Like you're
Like
the
a tit for
smallest
tat
guy on
type
the
of
yard,
thing.
you go to beat up the biggest one to get notoriety. You know what I mean?
Okay, I think I'm done.
The prosecution rests.
Yeah. I just, yeah, I think that, okay, so do you find it odd that they haven't been outspoken? They haven't,
I think
their
it's in
whole
the best
demeanor
interest. I think it's in their best interest. Like they would tell us if we were in their situation, like our attorney would tell us it's your best interest not to say a damn word and let me do my job.
but I mean, like, even in the beginning, there's no way.
I think Jamal's attorneys were telling Jamal what they should do, and Jamal relayed the message, because I got the cease and desist from Jamal, from day, for the first weeks of this thing. And then we had kind of a relationship through emails, which I have several emails from him, and him confirming the dog's name wasn't Chalk and all the other things that I asked. And I made sure that, we kept a copacetic relationship. And I haven't talked to him in months. I haven't talked to him since the third email, but we did email a few times. I told him I'll keep everything in the best taste I can, but I'm going to bring out the real facts and the real news. But we can only bring out so many real facts and real news because we only have so much. And I don't have anything to put myself on the west side and provoke their innocence to people and protest their innocence to people. I don't have any love lost for any side of the family. I want the story as much as you guys. And at the end of the day, I don't care who's involved. I want them to go down for it. Whether it's Jacqueline Trezell or whether it's the Bio family or a third party that we don't know about. And that's still an option. About you talked about how many child predators there are in Cal City. There was, I think, 40 or so or more that you were stating earlier, Queen. That's still 33. A possibility. 33. Yeah, there's still a possibility. It's still a possibility. We don't know. But yeah, if we go back to that, I think there still should be charges to, for neglect and improper parenting, for whatever you can do, on both accounts for Jacqueline and Trezell. The Bio family, again, they can't get charges for neglect because they already lost their kids. So we have to focus. We have to focus on really who did it, and then at the end of the day,
what you losing your kids got to do with you being charged with getting neglect. No, thanks. That don't make sense what you're saying. You can still be charged with neglect. Your other children don't have anything to do with the charge itself. You did that
for murder. They're not going to get charged for the murder. No, at the end of the day, if they don't get charged for the murder, I still think that they still should be charged with some type of neglect charge or some type of improper parenting charge.
Well, I do believe that because we don't really know what the hell's going on in this place with these people. Really, I'm fed up, tell you the truth, because all this time that went by, and we are now in month 5. This is ridiculous.
It's sad. It's not ridiculous. It's sad.
I said I want to look up in September. This is what I keep saying. I want to look up in September, and we're still talking about where the boys of Cal City.
And I want to put my faith into these departments, like they're doing their jobs. But I've defended the police. And again, I'm not here to make enemies. And I've always said from all of my live streams, I believe they're doing their jobs to the best of their ability. That they may have screwed up on some procedural stuffs in the beginning, but I'm hoping that Bakersfield, when they took over, I don't know that that's the case at this point. I don't know if they're doing everything.
But you feel like that they messed up?
Oh yeah. There was some procedural things and stuff in the beginning that was very detrimental to finding these kids faster.
Enlighten us. No thanks.
Please tell.
Just the way they did the search warrants and just the way they handled the initial calls. I just don't think that everything was done. I mean, I was covering a story where there was a guy that's killed his wife and his kids, and he was driving into Lancaster area towards where Cal City is, and there's an aqueduct over there. And by the time he got there was search and rescue there for the lake and the riverbed. There was divers, there was cops, there was air support, there was this, there was that.
I'm having a hard time thinking that they were able to do that within 15 minutes of that guy even getting to that point, when they couldn't even get that for the kids in Cal City at that point. They couldn't get air support. They couldn't get all it. That took hours before the infrared and the heat seeker and all that stuff came out. It was amazing to me how long it took for those things that should have already been in place right of way when they're missing 2 toddlers at that age, as opposed to an adult who's driving and who's a possible, danger to society and has a gun, and he doesn't have any hostages, but yet they have air support, they have divers, they have stuff for the aqueduct, they have drones in the air, they have ground support, they have all these different options to get this person so he could get away, and all those things we needed for those kids. We needed air support, we needed water support, we needed all this stuff that we looked at, and I don't down any psychics, or I don't down any people who do that kind of thing. But, there was a lot of people having a search in a lot of places that were actually searched, later on and not told to us, or told to us, later than after we searched, where they did, the infrared, and they did the heat, the heat visuals, and they did all the helicopter support, and they did some ground searching, but they didn't do enough. They didn't do enough fast enough. That's what I feel about Cal City Police, and I think it was a blessing that Baker
in the comments says I missed the beginning. So no thanks is good with the family. Are you good in with the family? That's what somebody want to know in the chat.
I don't even know the family.
Who? We're not mentioning nobody else's name on the chat.
You cut out.
Well, he said he don't know the family. So there.
I don't know anybody. Hey, I'm not here to represent for either side of the family. I'm not here to represent for either side of the family. I've had correspondence with Jamal through email a few times. I've never talked to Jacqueline, never talked to Trezell, never talked to Philip, never talked to Wanda, never made threats to any of these people, never crossed the boundary, never got any closer to any of these people as close as you've gotten. I've probably gotten, or I've gotten that close because other people release stuff. But again, no, I have no recollection, and I have no reason to stand up for either side, because the true people that are hurting are these kids. It's Orrin and Orson West. It's not about
pictures, because nobody listens when they come in the chat. People don't listen to what people say on the panel. Doug, you don't have newer pictures of the children, correct?
I don't have anything that you guys don't have. Okay. All I know is that all I know is that the cops have something better than we have.
Listen, somebody misunderstood what you said, because as I state, people don't listen. He says I have the original photo of the children that was on Jamal Watkins' page that has without the marks on their face. But see, y'all don't pay attention. You hear what you want to hear, and that goes on every live. You said that.
I'm sorry.
You said that. Ugh.
No, not you, Doug. She's not talking about you.
Psychopath. No, I'm talking about somebody's question.
I also apologize. For these people, because these people are the very problem. Yeah. These people are the very problem that we don't get a solution, because they're part of the problem and not the solution.
That's why you have to block them out. That's why I don't answer no more.
Yeah, just ignore them, Queen. Just move on the way you got to move on, and
they'll keep asking the same question over and over. So I ask you the question. Now that's the answer.
Sure.
You do not have photos of the children. You do not have new photos of the children. She obviously misunderstood
anything that you guys don't have.
You were making a reference to an original photo of the children that we all have seen on social media, billboards, that was allegedly untouched without
that was taken down. That was taken down. So I have the one before it was taken down, and that's the original picture I have from Jamal's Facebook.
Says, I saw bruises. Well, hell, did you see the kids too? I'm dead. I'm done this.
No.
You know what, Queen?
Well, I'm really sorry if I cut you night off and Crystal, or
I saw my seat.
What's
I apologize.
That?
I said I apologize if I cut you or Crystal or Night Owl or Everyday Shenanigans off. I have a little bit of a lag, so
I apologize. Yeah, it's lagging.
Night Owl, what you got to say? I'm getting ready to cut it loose. Night Owl, what do you have to say before we check out of here? And Crystal too.
The case just gives me Susan Smith vibes.
Okay.
Somebody took my kids. My kids gone. They responsible, and I'm gonna stand on that.
Okay. Darren, you don't have to verify anything about Doug and Jamal and nobody else. That's not your job. You don't have to verify anything. You don't nobody no explanation in the chat about nothing. Because in the end, none of us know the victims, which are the children, the bio parents, or the adoptive parents.
I mean, if people want to see the emails that I received, I mean, I have no problem showing those. I'll just block out the other outgoing email addresses. But if people want to see validation of what, about what Jamal said to me, I have nothing to hide. There's nothing in there that's going to change any part of this story. It just has the fact that I asked him about the dog and the dog's name, and if they have any kind of dog.
I've been flatlined, Miss D. Oh my God, Jesus wept.
So if you guys need that, I don't care about that. I'll shoot those to Queen too. But as of anything else, I have just as much as you guys, and I think that we just keep Orrin and Orson in our prayers, and that again, keep it about them, and keep our hearts with them, and hopefully we find out.
Don't try to explain stuff to people, because these people will go back and forth with you. If you start engaging, you will never end the conversation. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It never stops. They're never satisfied. They won't be satisfied with the answer. I'm just telling you.
Doug, you do think?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
What was that, Chris?
Go ahead, Chris.
Doug, you think that this is? You did say that this you feel that this is going to be a cold case?
I think we're at that. I think we're at a cold case at this point right now.
Because of the timing, right?
Yeah, and we're not hearing. I mean, I get the gag orders and the shut up orders, and keep the story close so it doesn't, taint a jury and all this other stuff. But I'll tell you right now, they're not releasing anything because they have nothing to release. Nothing new. Nothing.
And that's what I think at this point too.
Nothing to release at all.
I hate to say that, because I want to think positive that they have something, but maybe it's just not enough to just say you did it. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't say nothing.
Huge magic trick right now.
Well,
no. It's like, did those kids even exist at this point?
But this half,
you know what I'm saying?
Answer to my question.
It's really crazy.
Lord, let me live, because Medea about to come out. Let me go.
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me on, Queen.
Thank you.
Crystal, much love and respect to you guys. Good night, Alex.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Thank the mods. Thank you. No thanks. We'll talk later. No thanks. Will be joining me tomorrow. Dissect the missing persons case here out of my backyard of East Tennessee. Chat with Carr. You're welcome to go to Facebook to look up the said information about him. He has an open Facebook page. People are still posting to his page. Hopefully he will reach out. I am praying for the victory that Mr. Carr is found. This is a baffling case. I will try to go live tomorrow.
Totally baffling.
From the said area where he went missing. I'm praying that I'll be safe out there. No shenanigans will jump off while I'm out there, because I'm sure it's in the middle of nowhere. But I will go out there.
We got you.
I will try to talk to different people in the area, businesses, for people to just give me their commentary of what they think may have happened to Mr. Carr. Please look him up on Facebook. There are lots of people posting. Family members, have respect for them when you comment, because I don't want to hear no shenanigans that you all were disrespectful on the Facebook pages, because we do not know where he is. We do not know what happened to him. It is looking like foul play. He went missing from a halfway house in Clinton, Tennessee. I don't know where Mr. Carr is, but I'm going to stay on this. I'm going to help bring some information that can be helpful and useful to the whereabouts of this man. His family states he is not the type to walk away, go without calling, visiting, none of that. He was last on the phone.
You said you left his car at the rehab where he was at too, so right?
The car was there. He had a weekend pass that weekend. what was told by Miss Whitney, his sister, and she was on the phone with him at about 9:30 when the phone went dead. I do not know if his phone died, if something happened while he was talking to her, but this is peculiar. The FBI has been involved. They've had people on the ground searching. Mr. Carr has disappeared out of nowhere from a facility that's supposed to aid in helping people with addiction, homelessness, mental disorders, and such. It is a multitude facility. Chat with Carr. If you are out there and you watch YouTube, please call your family, your mother and your sister. They are worried sick about you.
Hopefully the cameras can tell us something.
Yes.
Hopefully we get some cameras.
Something, and you just wanted to just vacate, fall off, please just call them, text them, please tell them something. But they know you better than me, and they say you would not have done this. You would have not just walked away. So the queen is going to be out there talking to somebody, someone about you.
Awesome.
And we're going to pray that you are found alive and safe. This is a baffling case, Doug, about this man. I've never seen nothing.
You got me hooked on it last night, and believe me, this has been on my mind even during this day.
I can't understand a person.
You guys are going to want to tune in tomorrow. You guys are going to want to tune in tomorrow for this show.
I'm not going to understand in my right mind how a grown man has gone missing from a halfway house.
And after we get done with all the information that we come up with, even through tonight to tomorrow, I'll be making a video about this and throwing it out and throwing stuff to Queen's channel so they can watch the live, so we can keep this case out there. This is an amazing case. Also, I thank you for lighting me up to this.
Yes, and so if you all want to go to his Facebook page, Chat with Carr. He is currently missing out of East Tennessee. He went missing from a halfway house. He was not mandated by the courts to be there, so he had the free will to roam and leave the facility and check out if he didn't want to continue the program. It was a choice. So know that before you start stifling in with comments. He could have easily left. And this is what Miss Whitney, his sister, told me. He's gone. Shoe found in the front yard. Phone found in the front yard. Debit card, wallet left behind. She has all that now. He just bought a car the day before, which would have been a Saturday. The 1st of May was on a Sunday. Last conversation was with Miss Whitney on the phone at 9:30 p.m. He's known to take walks. I'm going to go in that area. I'm going to try to get some information as far as how far it is to walk on the road to a main road. I'm going to get myself out there and I'm going to walk the walk myself.
Thank you.
And I want to do it live. So I'll probably be making different videos because I want to be very careful about who I talk to on a live because I don't want any shenanigans on a live. So I will do the lives as far as the location of walking, showing you how long it takes. Some of you I know will be counting down how long it takes to walk from here to there. But my understanding, surveillance has come up with nothing that night of Chat with Carr and no cars coming or going on the said road. It's very baffling.
Do you think you could get an intake or an evaluation to see what they can maybe give you, maybe a walkthrough of the facility? Like you're maybe going to bring somebody in.
You know, that would be privacy. That probably HIPAA because you got people in there ain't supposed to see.
No, you don't have to record it, but maybe walk through there and see if you see camera systems, see if how it's,
but you got where people there that I'm not probably supposed to know that's there. You understand what I'm saying? It's a halfway house.
Yeah, just pretend like you're just insinuating about it if you can. I'm just saying, maybe we could find out the camera structure inside.
You want me to come up missing, Doug?
No, not at all. But I'm saying if we find out what the camera system inside the place is, then we can kind of know if they saw what happened, if he disappeared inside.
Look, you know damn well they not about to do no tours. Look, don't get me started. This ain't Texas.
Tell them you have you have the new white son. You have a white son that needs to come in and check and be evaluated, and I'll be the son. I'll come out there.
This ain't Texas. No house tours. Bye, Felicia.
Well, Queen, I appreciate you having me, guys, and having fun. And thank you for turning me on to this case, you guys. I'll catch you on the flip side.
Join us tomorrow, bringing you
yes, ma'am.
case I brought to you guys a couple weeks ago with the disappearance of Chadwick Carr out of East Tennessee, went missing from a halfway house to Foundation in Clinton, Tennessee. Follow me on this journey. We are going to get justice for Chadwick Carr. We're going to get to the bottom of where he is. If there's indeed foul play, if indeed someone's plural are involved from the halfway house. Somebody knows what Chadwick Carr is. Somebody knows a whole lot. And we're going to make sure that the information gets out there one way or the other, because he has family members who are deeply hurt and disturbed and beside themselves. His mother is weary. His sister is weary. He has relatives that are weary. They want to know where he is. And I'm not going to rest until I get some information to where Mr. Carr is. We're not going to rest. And if someone is out there who has harmed Mr. Carr, know that the Queen is not going to rest until we get answers to the whereabouts of Chadwick Carr. Join me later for a live on the location where he was last seen. I will do my best to try to get near the Foundation without getting arrested. Pray for me. I will bring you a general area of the place. You all will be able to Google, because most of you will probably Google the place. It's off of Dutch Valley Road, Clinton, Tennessee. We're going to go on the ground. This will be the first time the Queen goes on the ground to cover a story. Pray for me and my safety tomorrow. Thank you all so much for joining me. After I upload my content, I will then go live with no thanks about this case of Chadwick Carr. And I will try to get other people who know Chadwick Carr to join me. You know, maybe a privacy issue. Some people may not want to speak publicly, but like I told them, you don't have to show your face. You don't have to give your legal name, but just give us some synopsis of who he is as a person, because people need to know that, because he is a person. He is valuable, he's worthy, and he deserves this information to be given out about him. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live stream. Thank you all for your support. Thank you, thanks. My mods, God bless all of you. Stay safe. Prayers for Cash Gernon. Prayers for the boys of Cal City. And prayers for all missing children and adults, unsolved missing cases, murder cases, cold cases, and prayers for Chadwick Carr of East Tennessee. God bless all of you, and thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.